Good morning and welcome back to Singapore. We are here for day 5 of the Toyota World Para Swimming Championships, Singapore 2025. There you can see the sights of some of the great attractions in this wonderful city of Singapore. It really is a truly fantastic setting for these championships. And what a great venue we have for this World Para Swimming Championships, the OCBC Aquatic Centre. Well, we've brought you 101 events so far in the 4 days of competition. We're on to day 5, and today we will crown another 25 world champions. But for this morning, it's heats all the way, and myself, Paul Noble, and alongside me is, as always, Liz Johnson. Morning, Liz.
Good morning, everybody.
It's going to be another good day, another hot day here in Singapore, as we've come to be accustomed to.
Yeah, we get that great shot of the stadium in the opening sequence, and the pool is the building next to it, but there's that one side that is open, and that's the side that we're on. The sun is blaring in. It does make the heats particularly bright, particularly warm down on that pool side. It's toasty.
We took a little wander down yesterday, didn't we, for one of the first times?
Yeah, we did, and there's that cauldron. It won't be so warm in there. Hopefully they've got ventilation, as we just see the athletes waiting to be lined up. That is, they are the swimmers for heat number 1 to get us underway. As we said, that'll happen at 9 o'clock. We've talked before about how you've got your published time for the start of a race. It can go late, but it can never go early.
And there's the lineup for the heat session this morning, what we're going to expect. We start off with that first heat of that 400 freestyle in the S9 classification, and the men's event as well. Move on to some butterfly events. Quite a number of sprint events in the middle part of the session. We've got 50 freestyle, 50 butterfly, and again a range of different strokes, a range of different classifications. 100 freestyle, 200 meters individual medley towards the end of the session for the SM14 classification. Some more sprints later on in the session. It's a freestyle day today, primarily, Liz. And we finish off with that heat of the mixed medley relay for 34 points. We've seen some incredibly quick relay swims over the last couple of days. World record last night in the 49-point relay for the Brazilian team. That was an absolute highlight yesterday. We've had 4 world records in every single day of competition, so that just shows you the quality of this event here in Singapore.
Yes, we've talked about, we're on to day 5 now, and we've talked about how the first major championships after a Paralympic Games, it's always an interesting event. Some athletes are coming in fresh from the excitement of a good Paralympic Games, wanting to get straight back in, wanting to do better. Some are coming in based on the fact they didn't make the squad for the Paralympic Games, and some are coming in taking it not easy, but in order to prolong their longevity and sustainability into another Paralympic Games, just taking different preparations. So we've seen it all, and but there are some quality fields here, and a number of the races have had all of the Paralympic medalists present here in Singapore.
Yeah, and majority of the Paralympic finalists in some events, so real quality here, and we've got a quality field for this one as well. The very first event that we are going to see is the women's 400 freestyle S9. We just saw our technical officials march on to the poolside. That's a great bunch of technical officials that we have here. And they go all around the world participating and officiating on World Para Swimming events. Here is the start list for that first heat. And we see Lakeisha Patterson going in lane number 4, the Australian. She's been a Paralympic champion before. She is the reigning world champion, actually, Lakeisha Patterson. And a real, almost become a 400-meter specialist. We saw her in the final of the 100 freestyle yesterday, but the Australian will be going on her preferred distance here in the heats tonight. Line up for this one as they come out. Beatriz Laredo Maldonado from Spain goes in lane number 2. Agata Pauli from France will go in lane number 3. Lakeisha Patterson, the reigning world champion, will go in 4. Vittoria Bianco from Italy. She took a medal in the Paralympic Games last year. Bronze medalist from Paris. Zhu Jialing has had a good week, the Chinese swimmer. She goes in lane number 6. And the lineup is completed by Sri Lankan Basnaeke in the outside lane. So we have 6 swimmers in this heat, 6 swimmers in the second heat. And as with all the heats this morning, the fastest 8 times from the 2 heats will progress to that final tonight, that medal final, where the titles will be decided. So as we look at it, we have lane 0 right at the top of your picture, lane 9 right at the bottom, and those 2 yellow marked lanes in the middle are lanes 4 and 5, and the swimmers will be seeded by time, so the fastest entry time in each of the heats will be in lane number 4, second fastest in lane number 5, and they'll work their way out accordingly, so the slowest swimmers will be in the outside lanes. Of course, it doesn't always go according to these seedings, as I think we probably will see as these heats progress as we go through the morning session, but at the moment it is going according to plan for Lakeisha Patterson. She leads after the first 50.
Yeah, it was a very comfortable first 50 there. Zhu Jialing in lane 6 for China, got off the block well, but now that they've settled into the strokes as they go through that 75-metre mark, Patterson has assumed her position at the front of the pack, where she is used to being. Very different strokes from Patterson, and then Pauli and Bianco either side of her. Pauli for France in 3, Bianco for Italy in 5. They have leg impairments, limb difference in their lower legs, so they tend to build through this. Patterson typically goes a similar type of speed the whole way through, that high stroke rate. She settles in, and then that sets the tone for how she's going to swim this 400. It is her favoured event, and she waits for this one. It's day 5. We didn't see her yesterday, but this is the one that she will have been waiting for. This will be the one that she has trained for. She trains with Brendan Hall, who goes in the men's equivalent in just a few heats' time. Great training partners together. It's always nice when you've got a training partner that goes a similar event to you. You can feel the pain together, but she's looking good here. She comes through, she'll turn at the halfway point, looking to be in the lead. Not much to choose between Pauli and Bianco, and Zhu still going well. Patterson now coming to the halfway point. She'll turn 2:21.62. She's holding 36-second 50s at the moment. Bianco just getting her foot to the wall ahead of Pauli, but there's nothing in it in that fight. It's not really a fight at the moment. They've settled into a stroke. As you said, Paul, you've just got to get yourself a lane into the final. 8 fastest swimmers can come from either heat, and then the slate gets wiped clean and you race for those medals.
Yeah, 4 swimmers maybe stretching away now as they get to the 250 mark. Patterson looking good. She has such an excellent record in this event. Lakeisha Patterson first won the world title back in 2019 in this classification, and also took the title in 2023. She won the Paralympic title in Tokyo, and also silver medal in Paris as well. Behind Sophia Conkley, we'll see her in the next heat to come. But Patterson coming up to the 300 mark, and she's got a fair advantage there over Vittoria Bianco and Agata Pauli. Let's just have a look at the times. 3:34.72 for Patterson, Bianco 3:38.48, and Pauli 3:38.91. So Patterson just repping around about a second or so faster than the other two swimmers, so she's stretching that lead, and splits have been incredibly consistent there. Last 3 splits for the 50s, 36.35, 36.55, 36.55. It's almost metronomic for Lakeisha Patterson. She comes up to this last turn. Let's have a look at her split here, see what she's going to get. Oh, she's dropped by a couple of tenths. It's 36.8, but it is consistent stuff for Patterson, and she is going to head home and take this first heat. Let's have a look at what kind of time she's going to register here. Her entry time 4:40.14, and Patterson is going to be, well, she's going to be outside that, but it doesn't matter in the heats. Good sprint at the end there for Zhu Zhaoling to bring her home, probably into second position there, the Chinese swimmer just at the edge of the picture, as Patterson touches in 4:48. That was comfortable for the Australian. Is Zhu going to get the touch? She certainly is. 4:52. That was a nice finish from Zhu. Bianco in third, and Pauli in third. Those 4, you would think looking good for the final, but Pauli might have preferred to finish third rather than fourth, Liz.
Yeah, we said the position can be important. There's a big second heat to come, as now we just look at Lorida Maldonado of Spain up there in lane 2, coming in to finish. She had an entry time of 4:55. She's come in 5:24, so little off the pace this morning for the Spaniard, but not so for that lady there. Lakeisha Patterson looks comfortable. She'll be happy with how that's gone. As you said, Paul, that 4th place touch can be vital. It's probably enough, to be honest, unless someone does something special for one of the outside lanes in the heats, but that can happen, because when you are in an outside lane in a heat, you do need to maybe go a bit harder. You do want to make that final, and so it will be a bit of a nervous wait now for Pauli.
Yeah, some young swimmers in this second heat as well to come, but there's Patterson, great swim again. Guess what our final 50 was? 36.5 again. Great stuff, isn't it?
Super impressive.
Well done, Lakeisha Patterson. She's looking good, and she is confirmed as the winner of that first heat, ahead of Zhu Zhaoling, Bianco and Pauli in third and fourth. Second heat, Sophia Conkley, Paralympic champion from Hungary, in the middle lane. And we're straight into the action.
Well, it is the heats, and like we said, Keegan Nott's going for America in lane number 2. Nuria Marcos Soto of Spain, great pedigree in this one, Paralympic champion back in 2016. The current Paralympic champion, Sophia Conkley of Hungary, is in 4. Emma Mijic for Croatia in 5. The in-form Canadian Mary Gibb goes for Canada in 6. And then European medalist Yulia Gorchuk of Israel goes in 7. So, like we said, there's a lot of pedigree in this one. So it will be Agatha Pauli of the first heat stood looking at that scoreboard, waiting for those results. See if she makes it in. By the way, is Mijic. She turned first, 32.60, ahead of Gibbs, 33.67. With Conkley, 34 flat after 50 metres. Still a long way to go as they come into the first 100 metres turn. And Mijic, the European champion, has really settled into her stroke early on here.
She's a real talent, Mijic, isn't she? A real youngster. She kind of burst onto the scene at the World Champs last time in 2023. She made the final in Paris, but she was out of the medals. But she'll be hoping to claim another World Championship medal here. And she's looking good in the early stages. Of course, it's the S9 classification, Liz. There's a range of impairments in this S9, course 1 to 10, those are physical impairments. And this S9 class is one with almost on the minor side of the physical impairments. You can see Emma Mijic just affected in one leg, but they've got the likes of Conkley was affected in the arms as well. So they all come together in this S9 classification, and these differences can play out.
Yeah, typically you can think of it, it's not, I mean, it's not an exact science, but you can think of it as having limb difference in one limb, like below the middle joint. So with Mijic, we see there She is missing the lower half of her right leg, and as you said with Conkley, it's an upper limb impairment. But over the course of the events program and the classifications, they do then tend to marry up and match up, and we see that play out. Mary Jibb and similar athletes, saw Lakeisha Patterson in heat number 1. Often they'll have a neurological impairment that affects their coordination or their overall strength, and we just don't. It's you've got to just trust the classification system as considered. They keep playing a video actually at the start of the sessions here, explaining how they get to the point where the swimmers are classified. And when you as an athlete, when you stand behind the block, none of that really matters. You're in that race and you just sit and race. But you can see how these 3 different athletes, all with different impairments, swim this one very differently. Mincic probably more balanced with the 2 stronger arms. Jibb there using her leg kick to propel her. And Conkley always finishes strongly with that motorboat kick that she has. But Mincic, she's still only 18. We think of her as a lot older. She's a very experienced athlete, and she's performing well here. She goes into the final 100 metres.
Yeah, Mincic over in 3:32.96. Mary Jibb continuing that good run of form. 3:36.89. Conkley 3:38.54. Conkley, very experienced campaigner. She'll know what she has to do and what she has to do to make that top 8. She won't mind what lane that she is in. Keegan Knott is going well up there in lane number 2, and she is the 4th place finisher here as we go. Lying in 4th place at the moment, not quite finished just yet, but she's looking good to be in that position as Emma Mincic heads for home. We'll just have a check of her time again. Just looking at the splits, 36.4, 36.7, 36.4. Again, these 400 freestylers putting in some great performances here in the heats. Emma Mincic, European champion, World Championship silver medalist from last time out. Big hope for the Croatian team to get a medal in this one, her preferred event. She's coming in to the finish, and she will finish in 4:45.40. That'll be the fastest from the 2 heats. Mary Jibb 4:50.61, and Sophia Conkley 4:52.71. It's quite a lot on the 4:52 range. It's all going to be quite close in terms of qualification. Keegan Knott should be okay for that qualification spot for the USA. She finishes in 4:58.01. And it does look like that is going to be a cut-off point, I think. Gordachuk finishing 5:02, and Marcus Soto 5:17 for Marcus Soto. Not the best swim from Marcus Soto. We've seen her obviously go a lot faster in the past, but just stroked through that one today.
Yeah, it was at the front really where everybody was focused. Mincic looked very comfortable as she came into the wall. Then she gave a little nod of the head. She is fastest in the world this year, less than a second separating her and Patterson. So they've set themselves up, if those results are confirmed, for a good head-to-head tonight. But they won't have it all their own way. Some of the other qualifiers in there. Conkley, again, didn't have to do too much this morning to make it into that final. So expect a lot more from a lot of these swimmers.
There are the qualifiers for that final. Emma Mincic leads the way, Lakeisha Patterson in 2nd place, and Keegan Knott did make it in that 8th position. Again, some big names in that one, and it should be a good final in prospect, I think. Men's 400 freestyle S9 coming up now. Simone Barlam, we saw him swim a sensational 100 freestyle yesterday to take gold, and he's back in the water early on this morning in this 400 freestyle. Well, again, Simone Barlam, one of the great stars of para swimming right across the world. There's 5 swimmers in this first heat, 6 swimmers in the second. You only have to drop 3 swimmers. We've got Lewis Bishop from Australia. He goes up there in lane number 2. Sam de Visser of Belgium in 3. Somebody Barlam will go in lane 4 for Italy. Jacobo Garrido Brun from Spain in 5, and Z Gili goes for China in lane number 6. So there's Simone Barlam in lane number 4, very much one of the favourites for this one. He's got a good record in this one, twice world champion, but he was on the silver medal position on the podium in Paris last year, beaten by a home favourite in Paris, Hugo Didier of France. Jacobo Garrido Brun, also a very experienced campaigner, and he goes for Spain in lane number 5. He was a world champion back in 2019. So 2 world champions in this 400 freestyle. Somebody Barlam in lane number 4, Jacobo Garrido Brun in lane number 5 there in those yellow marked lanes. And we've seen Simone Barlam has had a big programme of events. He started quite late in the week, he didn't have anything in the first couple of days, but he's got a big programme now going right to the end of the competition. We've seen him a number of times just ease back on this 400 freestyle, maybe be in an outside lane.
Yeah, as we keep saying in swimming, it is the heats are there to just get you qualified through to those finals. It doesn't matter what lane you're in. You don't get a lane based like out of a hat. Your time seeds you for a lane, but there's no bends to run like there is in athletics. The water is the same regardless of what lane you're in. I mean, there are a lot of pools where if you're in the centre, the idea is that is the advantage due to the way the water moves and also your vantage point. But the saying in swimming is if you've got a lane, you've got a chance. And we do see Simone Barlam often just paddle through, get himself in one of those outside lanes and then reset for the final. If you've got a busy programme, which a number of swimmers across this week have, you need to manage your energy levels, because it's the finals where the medals are given out, and nobody adds up all the metres you've swum over the week to contribute to whether you should get a better medal or not. And so I think we do see that from a number of the swimmers. Some of the Italians are very good at that. Stefano Raimondi, another athlete who's very good at just managing his heat swims to get himself in a lane for the final.
I think it's a tactical thing sometimes to be in the outside lanes. Is it conserving energy? Because, you know, Barlam, we've seen him in the outside lanes sometimes. He almost surprised the swimmers in the middle of the field. But, you know, last year in Paris, he was in one of the outside lanes, but he found himself next to Hugo Didier, who did exactly the same. They both swam away from the rest of the field from, what was it, lane 2 and 3,
I think. Yeah, no, I think sometimes you can do it where you want to be out of sometimes you want to be in the action, and sometimes you want to be out of the action, and have your own clear water to move. I don't think it really matters, though. I think ultimately, like we said, if you've got a lane, you've got a chance. And Barlam here he knows that this evening, if he does make it into that final, there will be a huge battle. This was a really competitive race at the Paralympic Games last year in Paris. There's lots of potential for medalists across the entry list, and so it is really about setting yourself up well, not just for tonight but for the rest of the week. But you do have to take one race at a time. De Visser's going well here. He's right there with Barlam, as is Jacobo Garrido Brun. So these three are slightly ahead of the rest of the field. Z is next for China in lane number 6, where they go over 3:17.5, 3:17.8 and 3:18.0. So really nothing in it. All holding 33 points on that 50.
And it is the Spanish swimmer Jacobo Garrido Brun is taking them through here into this final turn. Barlam, I wonder if he'll just put a little bit of a spurt on at the end there. Sam De Visser going well. And we talked about quality of the field here in some of the events here in Singapore, but in this one, practically, I think got most of the finalists in that 400 freestyle. In this one, I think 7 of the 8 finalists from Paris are taking part in this 400 freestyle here in Singapore. So that is absolute quality for you. Barlam just going into third position. I think he's satisfied with that third place. Sam de Visser might take this one, or is it going to be Jacobo Garrido Brun? They are just coming through to the finish now. Garrido Brun will stretch for the wall, and he will take it for 23.46 for Garrido Brun. De Visser in 4:24.16 in second. Barlam will be third in 4:24.78. It's G 4:29.01 in fourth, just ahead of Lewis Bishop, 4:30.28.
Well, Garrido Brun was talking to the guys when he got into the wall then, looking a bit confused, and we've just seen from that replay, maybe he didn't hear the start signal or something, because he definitely got left behind, but it didn't matter in the end. It didn't matter in the heat.
At least he did it in a 400.
And in a heat. It might be a little more problematic in the final, but he's done what he's needed to do there. He's obviously been thinking about it though for 8 legs.
Didn't do him any harm. Jacobo Garrido Brun takes that win there in that first heat ahead of Sam de Visser and Simone Barlam. It was close for fourth, 4:29.01. It's line up for heat number 2. Paralympic champion Ugo Didier in the middle. World record holder is Brendan Hall. There's the Paralympic champion. What a win that he had in Paris last year. It was one of the Australians, Harrison Vig, who goes in lane number 6. And Brendan Hall will be next to him in lane number 5. World record holder, 3 times world champion in this event, Brendan Hall, and he set the world record in the World Championships when he won in Montreal in 2013, 4:09.93. It's the full lineup as we look at them. It's Camila Candial for Spain in 2, Kawabuchi Japan in 3, Paralympic champion Didier in 4, world record holder Hall in 5, Harrison Vig in 6, and Rashim from Sri Lanka in lane number 7.
Well, down that first 50, it was Vig who touched just 8 100ths ahead of Kawabuchi of Japan in lane 3, and then Hall was third at the first turn. It's still a long way to go in this one. Brendan Hall has been such a present force in this S9 400 meters freestyle over the years. Made his debut at the Paralympics in Beijing back in 2008, and then really made this event his own. It was a great bronze medal for him in Paris, because as you said, Barlam and Didier were in their own battle out in the outside lanes, and then the rest of the pool were racing for that bronze, and I think for some of them, for Hall, it felt like a gold. And he's swimming well here this morning. His family travel, his young son Bodhi was in Paris watching, and now we've got a new addition, Hugo's here. We've seen them in the stands this morning. The Australians have got great support actually. We've been admiring all of the different t-shirts, but as we settle in, it's the other Australian of this one, Harrison Vig, who's going very well.
I like Emily Beecroft supporters.
We can't have favourites.
with the face of Emily Beecroft all over those Hawaiian shirts. That was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, some great outfits here we've seen in the crowd from many countries. And the 2 Australians doing well in the first half there. Harrison Vig leads them through 208.61. Kawabuchi gets to the wall in second, 209.19. Brendan Hall, 209.23. And Ugo Didier, 209.77. So absolutely nothing in it between the top 4 here. Escanila Candial in 4th place, around about 4.5 seconds off the pace at the minute. The Spanish swimmer up there in lane number 2. But these 4 are almost locked together. Ugo Didier, the Paralympic champion, is in 4th place at the minute, but I don't think that'll face him at all. He'll just be wanting to make it through to that top 8, make it through to the final. But Harrison Vig having a good race here as Didier begins to power through in the middle, the French Paralympic champion.
Yeah, well, as they approach the 300-meter mark, it's all pretty settled. They've settled into a rhythm and a routine. and they're all swimming together. Vic still getting his foot to the wall first. 3:15.42, just 0.2 ahead of Didier now, who's moved up a couple of places into second. But again, less than half a second between him and Hall, with Karabuchi just dropping back, but there's really nothing in it. Less than 3/4 of a second between that front four. They are keeping each other company. It actually looks quite pretty from up here to see the four of them swimming together. Now Karabuchi just dropping off the pace slightly. Will anybody want to put in a bit of a spurt ahead of the final? Or will they happily settle for just all coasting in together?
Well, it's Garrido Brun who leads the way, 4:23.46. There was a couple on 4:24, including Barlam, but here comes Didier just putting a little bit of a spurt on at the end there. And we'll see where this can take him. It might be good enough to be the fastest time, I think. 4:23 from the first heat, and I think he will be in the centre lane for that final. The Paralympic champion, Hugo Didier. The two Australians are split by 5/100ths of a second. And those three swimmers will be at the top of the podium. Of the start list, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself. Kawabuchi in fourth position. He's also going to be there or thereabouts, just 5/100 shy of the time from Garrido Brun. So it was a fast second heat, but I think it's going to be 4 from the first and 4 from the second that will make it through.
Yeah, not such an eventful start that time round. Everybody away clearly and on time. We'll wait on those results to be made official, but that was a procession this morning for the four athletes in the middle. It's good to see that they took each other to solid times. Sometimes it can go the other way and you can settle into a rhythm and actually you're all going a lot slower than you felt. But Harrison Vick, he had a great first couple of hundred.
Yeah, he's the least experienced of the Australians here. We did see him at the European Open Champs last year. The first major championships for Harrison Vick. And there's some of the supporters in the crowd here. We've had schools in all week and it's been absolutely fantastic atmosphere. We will have some Singaporean swimmers a little bit later on this morning. But Hugo Didier will lead the S9 men into the 400 final. It is going to be another cracking final in prospect. Difficult to tell who was holding back there, Liz. But as I said, 7 of the finalists from Paris are in that final tonight, and it is going to be a cracking race again. Here's a line-up for the one and only heat of the women's 100 metres butterfly in the S10 classification. Paralympic champion Faye Rogers from Great Britain in the middle lane.
Your lovely photos.
And one and only heat of this S10. You wonder why it's only one heat, because they're using the outside lanes, lane 0 and 9, but they don't use them in the final. So we've got 10 swimmers in this one. So we have to lose 2 swimmers from that one heat to get to our top 8. And here they come. Led out by a newcomer to Paris Swimming Major Championships, Daphne Kirk. Won 2 gold medals already for the Turkey team. She's burst onto the scene this week. Kasenga Hotson won. Scott Bikini from Italy, silver medalist in the 50 freestyle. She goes into Jasmine Greenwood for Australia in lane number 3. Faye Rogers, Paralympic champion from Great Britain in 4. Katie Cosgrove, the Paralympic medalist from Canada, goes in 5. Poppy Wilson, Australia in 6. Taylor Winnett, USA in 7. Olivia Jabowska from Poland in 8. And Silvia Lopez Moreno from Mexico goes in lane number 9. Should be an interesting one here. It should be comfortable qualification for swimmers in the centre, ones that have taken medals at the major championships before. But Daphne Kirk right up the top there in lane number 0. Watch out for her, because she's showed blistering pace in the 50 metres freestyle. She also had a great opening for the 200 metres individual medley. Her first 50 metres butterfly was round.
Yeah, Kurt, definitely the unknown quantity in this one up there in lane 0. Jasmine Greenwood of Australia got a good start. That gold hat in the middle of your shot there. Faye Rogers for Great Britain has had a great victory in the 400 metres freestyle, but she was taken by surprise in that medley. And as we can see right at the top of the stream, we are with Greenwood now, but in 0. Daphne Kurt is touching 29.95 ahead of Rogers' 30.32 from Greenwood's 30.92. They were around the wall. Rogers had a great turn to make up some of the deficit, and she looks now as they go through the 75-metre mark to have just overtaken the early leader. There's a heat. They're only to drop 2 swimmers, so Rogers and Kurt looking good here.
Yeah, Rogers coming into the closing stages now. She's been in record-breaking form this year, breaking records in the 200 metres butterfly world records. 104.04 for the Great Britain swimmer. Well, excellent swim. That's exactly the same as her entry time. So Faye Rogers, lifetime best, I think. That was 104.04, so she's matched that in the heat. Great swim there from Faye Rogers, and that is a European record, matching the time, her entry time. So great swim for Faye Rogers there. Daphne Kurt went out well, but Faye Rogers reeled her in the second half of that one. 105.50 for the Turkish swimmer. Katie Cosgrave was into the wall next. Poppy Wilson will be the last swimmer through. There's the qualifiers. European record there for Faye Rogers in the heat. That was impressive. Daphne Kurt in second place. And the 2 swimmers that will miss out, Olivia Jaworska from Poland and Sylvania Lopez Moreno from Mexico. Well, the men's 100 butterfly heat 1. There's the lineup for that one. Nemchenko and Safi in the middle lanes. What a good swim from Faye Rogers there, Liz.
Well, I think that threat of Kurt in the outside took her out well, and she went into the turn second, but she came out first, and that was ultimately the difference. But tonight, they will be next to each other. So,
yeah, side by side in the middle lanes will be Faye Rogers and Daphne Kurt. Well, they had that, obviously that swim in the individual medley. They're very well matched in the individual medley event, but they were separated by around about 3 or 4 lanes. But
yeah,
this time, side by side, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, they've definitely set up. But Katie Cosgrove rather looked good on that final 10 metres as well. So there's plenty of options and opportunity there.
So the men coming out for their first heat. 2 heats of this one. 6 in the first heat, 7 in the second. 100 metres butterfly. For the men, Stanislav Popov from Ukraine, Fernando Liu from Canada, Igor Nemchenko, Paralympic Games silver medalist, who goes in the fast lane in lane number 4, already on good form this week. Alex Safi from Australia will go in 5. Dmitry Grigorev in 6 for neutral para athlete team, and Jack Gill from Canada will go in lane number 7. So 4 and 5, Nemchenko and Safi.
Take your marks.
Who were both medalists at the Paralympic Games last year. Silver for Nemchenko and bronze to Safi on that occasion. And they will start as favourites for this one. Firm favourites, the 2 in the centre.
Yeah, they have a bit more of a buffer in terms of the time they gone into for qualification. But no one in this one will want to hang around too much this morning. Nemchenko, he had a great 50 metres freestyle on night 1, dropped significant time to take a bronze medal in that, and he's gone out here 25.90, showing that speed once again. Liu of Canada had a good first 50, 27.29 ahead of Safi, 27.40. We can see those in the centre lanes. Instead of battle down at the bottom between Grigorev and Popov.
And here comes Nemchenko, just Safi closing up now in the closing stages, but Nemchenko is going to take it in at 57.49. Safi did close up 58.69, good second 50 for the Australian, and Fernando Liu wins that tussle between the two Canadians for third and fourth. Fernando Liu in 59.1 and Jack Gill in 1:26 with Grigoriev in fifth position.
Yeah, Grigoriev just a quarter of a second behind Gill. That could prove to be vital. So he'll be watching with bated breath this second heat. But Nimchenko looked great down that first 50 metres, and he set himself up well to complete that 100.
He wins it. Safi looked good on the second 50. So they'll come again for the final. But we have to wait and see what happens in this second heat. Another Australian in this second heat of this 100 butterfly S10. Cole Pearce goes in 3. Paralympic and world champion Stefano Raimondi will go in lane number 4. Cohen Boy from the USA also in this one, the young 16-year-old who's impressed us this week. Silver medals in the 400 metres and in the 200 individual medley. He's behind Raimondi in that 200 individual medley. The Italian took the gold medal. And Raimondi, well, another one, we talked about it before, Raimondi is known for maybe just making it into finals and maybe pulling out something special from an outside lane, but he's not leaving anything to chance here. Raimondi in lane number 4, right up at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's always about calculated risk if you're going to take that approach, and this is a strong field. So Cole Pearce turns 26.68, Raimondi's 27.06, with Boyd 27.11, just a half second ahead of the fast start from Menciotti. That is Cole Pearce. He was a bronze medalist in Manchester, just missed out in this one at Paris, but he's looking good here this morning, as is Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd coming back, but it is going to be Pearce, I think, just timed that finish. Boyd didn't have the best of finish, and it was 15/100s at the end, but Cole Pearce takes it 57.56. It's all going to be very close in terms of qualification. 57.71 for Cohen Boyd. Raimondi will be there, 58.53, and Menciotti 59.67. So 4 swimmers under the minute in that second heat, but Cole Pearce went out well. Nice strength at the end there for Cohen Boyd from the USA.
Well, we saw his endurance in the 400. He's having a great week here for the United States.
And it was very tight in qualification here. Nimchenko will lead the way ahead of Cole Pearce, Cohen Boyd. Raimondi will be there. Safi will have 2 Canadians and 2 Italians, 2 Australians, with a USA swimmer and a Ukrainian who leads the way. Well, could be another great final here. Some of these finals are very difficult to tell. There's no firm favourites, are there?
No, there's been some big racing over the first 4 days, and that looks set to continue in day 5 finals.
Well, moving to the other end of the pool for the start. All the races finish at the same end, which means the 50 metres and the 150 metre events all start at the opposite end of the pool. And we are into the S4 50 metres freestyle for women. 7 swimmers in the first heat and 7 swimmers in the second. And here they are coming out now. Brenda Larry from Malaysia in lane number 1. Monique Schacher from Switzerland in 2. Gina Butcher has had a good week. The German swimmer, she won a bronze medal in the individual medley. She goes in lane number 3. Lydia Vera de Cruz will go in lane number 4. A couple of bronze medals to her name this week, the Brazilian. Tanya Schultz in lane number 5, won a gold medal in the breaststroke on day 1 of competition and a world record time. And she is the reigning world record holder. Set that in 2022, Tanya Schultz. Gabdolina of Kazakhstan goes in 6, and Safonova from Ukraine goes in 7 to complete the lineup. Tanya Schultz is reigning world champion. Some of these swimmers will be getting in from the side again. We're into the S4 classification, so we're towards the more impaired swimmers in the physical impairment scale here.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a diverse range of impairment as well, so expect the race profile to differ throughout the course, even on a 50 meters. Often we talk about the race being at the one of two halves. Vieira da Cruz in that centre lane for Brazil typically gets a good start, and here we can see Gina Butcher and Brenda Larry going from the blocks. Everyone else starting in the water.
Long hold there for this start, but we are away now for this first heat. 50 freestyle S4 for women.
Yeah, there we can see up and into her stroke very quickly indeed. It is the Pan American champion Vieira da Cruz. She's having a good week for Brazil, and she will lead by about a body length through the 25-meter. Butcher tends to build through the length. The European champion and Gabardolina going well for Kazakhstan down in 6, but this is all about Lydia Vieira da Cruz in heat number 1.
Yeah, Vieira da Cruz and Gina Butcher. There was no Tanya Schultz taking the start actually, so world record holder not taking this one, but Butcher, her teammate, is going to be second behind Vieira da Cruz, 40.03. Gina Butcher 43.29 and Gabardolina 47.66. With Monique Shacker 51.66 and Safanova 51.90. So Vieira da Cruz looking good there. 40.03 for the Brazilian. Looking 2 medals already this week, Liz, and that good start has almost become her trademark, hasn't it?
Yeah, she does get away well from the wall. You can see then, and she's up and into her stroke. She's enjoying a successful week here. Comfortable swim for Vieira da Cruz this morning. She's been at 38 point this year, so a bit of time left in the tank.
So Vieira da Cruz takes it ahead of Gina Butcher. Gabardolina, the experienced swimmer from Kazakhstan, in 3rd place, trying to make another world final. Kazakhstani swimmer. Monique Shacker in 4th place. Here's the lineup for heat number 2. 7 swimmers due to take the start here for this heat number 2, including Katie Kubiak from the USA, who has been on world record-breaking form this week. Liz, real fine for the USA team, and the entry time that she has submitted for this event is inside Tanya Schultz's world record.
Yeah, and she has been that time this year, earlier in June. So, and she did say that it was a target just to come in and do better times than she's ever done before, and she's managed that so far this week, really finding her way on this international stage.
We have right up there, lane 1, Goncharova, Butkova, Miranda Herrera, Kubiak in 4, Pereira dos Santos, Larionova and Tucker. That's a lineup for this one. What can Kubiak do?
Well, Tucker went from the block. There we are looking at Butkova and Miranda Herrera, but already that white hat of the United States of America for Kubiak is through 25 meters. She's a body length ahead of Pereira dos Santos for Brazil, and she's looking strong, and it will be all eyes on the clock.
Yeah, 36.92 is the world record held by Tanya Schultz since 2022. Let's have a look at the time. I think it's just going to slip by, but not by much. 37.78. It is a championship record there for Katie Kubiak, the fastest we have seen from this class at the World Championships. Pereira dos Santos in for 2nd place. Larionova finishing strongly to come in 3rd, ahead of her teammate Butkova. Miranda Herrera in 4th place, and that might be good enough for Nelly. Miranda Herrera, been a world champion in the past in this event, to make it into that top 8. But Kubiak looking good and looking like she might be tough to beat. That was an excellent swim again from the American.
Well, she had an excellent 100 meters freestyle earlier in the week. She gave a nod of the head there. Happy with that time. I'm sure she was saving something for tonight.
And she will lead the way into the final. Championship record time for the USA swimmer ahead of the 2 Brazilians. And again, well, she's been in record-breaking form. 2 world records already this week for Katie Kubiak in 2 different events, Liz. And, well, is she going to get another one tonight? She's looking like she might do. That was very close to the world record for Tanya Schultz, within a second.
Yeah, she looked really strong through the first 35 metres. I'm sure that she just eased off then into that wall.
Save something for the big final tonight. Katie Kubiak, that'll be one worth watching to see if we can get another world record here for the American. Americans, I've said it, they're having a good week, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
You have that lineup for heat number 1, 2 Israelis in this heat 1 of the 50 freestyle S4.
Well, I didn't want to get in the way of your start sheet, you're right.
Well, we don't know if we do get told to speak about the start sheets. If you think we just kind of, if Liz stops suddenly, that's fine. We have been instructed to not to interfere with the graphic start sheets if they come up, so that's our excuse.
But
right, let's continue.
So traditionally in the United States, they have strong, like, core team, and they stick around for a long time, but a lot of those athletes taking some time out. Lizzie Smith not here, Mackenzie Coe not here. We have seen Jessica Long, but what they have done is brought some new talent that is really delivering, and you can tell there's definitely a different vibe of youth and rookiness, if that's even a word, in the States, being led all the way by the likes of Jessica Long and Mallory Wegerman, the more experienced athletes, showing them the ropes. And it bodes well for a strong Paralympic cycle into a home games.
It certainly does. And we do see that with a number of countries building towards the Paralympic Games in their own country. The French kind of built up last time, didn't they? We saw the Japanese build from, you know, what was almost a disappointment for them in Rio, but they came back really strongly to take gold medals in the pool in their home games in Tokyo.
Yeah, and I think you then see that legacy hang around for a long while after. I mean, we're nearly 10 years after the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, and Brazil just seems to go from strength to strength. They've got depth across the classification system, across the events, and every time somebody who's so significant retires, you think, oh no, who's going to fill that gap? But these swimmers just keep on coming.
And again, probably the most prominent one ever, I think, has been the Chinese one, because prior to the Paralympics being announced for Beijing, we hardly had any Chinese swimmers in Paralympic swimming.
Oh, I know, and now they just go from strength to strength. 2 nights ago, how many gold medals did they win?
Well, half a dozen anyway. There seemed to be one after the other. But yeah, very strong country. The Chinese continue to be strong. We haven't got any representative in this one. We do have Dimitri Grandjeau from France in lane number 2. 2 Israelis in 3 and 4. Ariel Maillard and Ami Omer Dadon. We have Angel Camacho Ramirez from Mexico in lane number 5. Roman Zdanov in great form. The neutral para athlete in 6, and Matt Stopkin in lane number 7.
Well, Camacho Ramirez is off to a great start once again, but that speed of the dome now coming through in lane 4. His teammate Malia going very well, 1 lane up as well. But it is the Dome who is the man in form this week, and he's looking strong. He's got that high turnover.
He has just been caught now by Camacho Ramirez, the Mexican, in the closing stages. Both of these swimmers been on the medal podium this week. Dadon might have the stretch there to just get ahead of the Mexican. 38.52, 38.80 for Camacho Ramirez. And in 3rd position was Ariel Maillard, 42.68, just getting ahead of Grandjeau and Zdanov. Might be an important touch there. But Dadon, well, he's won the last 2 World Championships in this one. And he's been a very consistent performer. He just seemed to ease up there in the closing stages, Dadon, but he had the longer arms at the end and he was able to reach for the wall. So comfortable swim there for Ami Omer Dadon, 38.52. 42. He wins it ahead of Camacho Ramirez, Ariel Malyar 42.68. Ahead of Grandjou. It's a close finish. I wonder if that'll be vital as well when they come to decide on the top 8.
Well, we talk about in some of the higher classification groups, we see the slower heats, swims from them, the controlled heat swims. And you said then about Amir Modadon, he eased off in the final stages, and that's because he doesn't have the luxury of doing that in the early stages because he's slower off the start, so he needs to get himself into a position where he's actually capable of doing that, which again just shows the different ways that these athletes have to approach these races, because Camacho Ramirez always has a brilliant first half of the race.
We'll see how these swimmers get on. Some big names in this one as well. Dmitro Vinohradets from Ukraine go in the outside lane right up there in lane number 1. 17 gold medals to his name at World Championships in the past. Andreas Ehrenhofer, Austria in 2. Luigi Biggiato, Italy in 3. Taka Suzuki, the Paralympic Games silver medalist in 4. Next to Cameron Leslie, World Champ silver medalist. Federico Cristiani had a good swim in the 100 to take a medal, and Armas Petracek, the Czech swimmer, won a medal yesterday in the backstroke.
Well, Suzuki and Leslie, both very similar impairments. They've been racing each other for decades, and it's those two that lead through 25 metres. Leslie with the fastest time in the world this year, very much turned his attention to the sprints for this championship, but it looks like Suzuki is just edging this one as they come into the final stages.
Suzuki just pulling away now from Leslie. It'll be a comfortable victory for the Japanese swimmer in 37.85. So well done to Taka Suzuki. He'll be in that final. Cameron Leslie will be there as well. Good finish from Cristiani to come into 3rd position ahead of his teammate Beggiato, and Ehrenhofer in 5th place. And it might be good enough for Ehrenhofer to make that final, actually. It was a faster second heat, but it was good power in the closing stages there from Suzuki. Leslie and Suzuki were absolutely stroke for stroke there.
Yeah, and you can see that drive from Suzuki in the final stages, all from the shoulders.
Suzuki is there ahead of Dadon, Camacho Ramirez, Leslie. Cristiani finished well, and Beggiato will make it as well. Ehrenhofer and Malyar will complete the lineup, and that kind of close finish in the first heat between Malyar and Grandjou decided who made that final. 16/100ths of a second separating them.
Well, it promises to be quite a tense final as well, because it's all very tight at the top.
There's the lineup for the one and only heat of the 50 freestyle S8. So we have 9 swimmers in this one, so you only have to lose 1 swimmer in that final.
Hello once again.
Cristiani had a good swim. He had a great swim in the 100. He came back very strongly, the Italian, the 20-year-old, in the 100 freestyle. Maybe the 50 might be just a little bit short for him, but he was coming back in the closing stages there. He's been a good addition to this classification, Cristiani.
Yeah, he looks strong. We see that from a lot of the Italians. They finish strongly. Except the race is not over till it's over. All the cliches come out in swimming, but the most frustrating thing about them is they're all true.
Absolutely. We haven't got many cliches in this week, have we? Oh yeah, we have actually.
Oh, all of them. All of them. We should have a bingo card.
Yeah, we need to ramp them up the last couple
Next
of days.
time we're going to get a bingo card.
Some more crowd interaction before we get into this 50 freestyle. Who supporters are those ones? Don't you recognise them?
No, I need to go back and read that T-shirt. It was a lot of people made it, like I said, a lot of effort with the T-shirts this year.
We need to think about that for next time. No.
What, staring at people's T-shirts?
No, our T-shirts.
Oh, no one looks at our T-shirts, it's fine. And I wasn't prepared for the weather.
If we made an effort.
I wasn't quite prepared for how hot it was.
No, it's very hot, very humid. Got a little bit of a makeshift shelter up here, right in the top of the stands here. And there's Palazzo, the Italian, took a silver medal yesterday in the 100. These swimmers late on yesterday, wasn't it? That 100 freestyle.
I think you're getting your days confused. The 100 fly was the day before.
Fly, yeah.
They all roll into one.
Now. So line up for this one, Lim Yuyong from Korea in 0. Costa Kokundakwe, Uganda in 1. Leticia Malesi in 2, next to her teammate from Italy, Gina Francesca Palazzo. Alice Tai, who's won 4 gold medals in 4 days, she goes in lane number 4 for Great Britain. Victoria Shalova, neutral para-athlete in 5. Zhu from China in 6. Paola Novina in 7. And Abby Tripp in lane number 8, closest to us. But Alice Tai, Paralympic champion from Paris, in the middle lane. Kukundakwe's been starting well, the Ugandan, and has another good start up there in lane number 1.
Yeah, the 18-year-old is a very tall figure and she uses it well in the early stages. Ishalova in the pink hat, the neutral para-athlete going very well in the first 25 meters. Tai tends to get off the block slower, but comes through strongly towards the end. Going well is Zhu, though, in lane 6. There's 2 athletes with that single arm freestyle that are leading at the moment.
Yeah, very fast finish here from Zhu, nearest to us there of those leading 2. And she will be in 31.58. Ishalova will be there, 31.92. It was very close at the finish, wasn't it? Palazzo getting in for 3rd, 32.32. And an African record again for Kukundakwe. It was a great start for the Ugandan, 32.49. Well, swimmer in the middle, Alice Tai, Paralympic champion, world record holder, out there in 6th position at the end, but good fast finish from Zhu there. She came through very strongly in the closing stages of that one.
She had that high stroke rate, and that's what's seen her finish at the top.
She will lead the way, the 17-year-old from China, ahead of Ishalova, Palazzo. It is Lim from Korea is the swimmer who will miss out, and she will, top names will be into that final. And here is the men's S8 heat number 1.
Well, there won't be a lot of hanging around in this one, will there? Because there's some big...
Just looking at, there has been a withdrawal in this one from our sheets, but we do have 6 swimmers now due to take the start, and 8 swimmers in the second heat. So Golas from Poland, Noah Jaffe from the USA, Edward Gauridianen from Ukraine, Abdulhalim Mohammed will go in lane 5 for Malaysia, Alberto Amadeo from Italy, and Kota Kubota from Japan. So swimmers in lane 4 and 5. And there in lane number 4 has impressed us this week, Liz, Edward Gauridianen.
He's been brilliant off the start, much like we were talking about Kakundaki in the women's event. He has kind of made it a bit of his trademark. He starts very quickly indeed, and then the rest of the field have to chase him down. Amadeo, that is his standard race profile, but 50 meters might just be a bit too short a distance for that to happen.
Take your marks.
Yeah, Mohammed, the Malaysian, in lane number 5, also a World Championship finalist last time out in Manchester. But we'll see what Gauridianen can do in lane number 4. Wow.
Well, he had a strong start, but Mohammed going well, one lane closer to us. They're together as they go through 25, and it is a great swim here from the Malaysian in 5.
Yeah, he's doing just what he needs to do at the front of the field here. Gauridianen with that long stretch, though, seemed to just stretch again at the end. Seemed to find another gear in that last 5 meters or so. And another impressive swim from the Ukrainian, Edward Gauridianen, in first position there, 26.72. Abdul Mohammed from Malaysia will get in second place. Noor Jaffe will be third, and Amadeo came through for fourth. But Gauridianen seemed to find something extra as Mohammed came alongside him in the closing stage of that one.
Yeah, he just seemed to gain some extra distance, didn't he, from those final few strokes. And That's reflected in the time.
Radianan takes it, 26.72. Abdulhalim Mohammed in second for Malaysia. No Jaffe in third. Amadeo in fourth. So Amadeo 28.11. Second heat on its way. Silva de Souza and Michelin Zakis in 3 and 4, former world champions in this one. Callum Simpson in that yellow cap of Australia, gold medalist in the 100 freestyle yesterday, so we know he's on great form.
Well, no one will be hanging around in this one, and it'll be, it's one of those events where it's going to be really tight to make it so those heat 1 swimmers will be watching, because there isn't much margin for error here for any of these athletes.
As we look at it from the top, Renenko, Maxwell, Michelin Zakis, Silva de Souza, Simpson, Yaraman, Martos Minguet, and Boyzanarov.
Take your marks.
Well, as they get away, it's Silva de Souza in that centre lane, and Michelin Zakis, who basically go through 15 metres stroke for stroke. There's a strong kick from Silva de Souza, but now comes Simpson in that gold cap of Australia.
Yeah, he's showing his power there. Callum Simpson, we saw him go very well in the 100, very well in the 400, and he's going to be into the wall first. A clear win for the Australian in 26.54, an oceanic record. Again, oceanic records falling to this man, Callum Simpson, all week. He is bang on form, his lifetime best at the major championships, and that's what you need to do, Liz. Fantastic stuff there. Michelin Zakis gets through for second, just 3 100s ahead of Silva de Souza. Yaraman also under the 28-second mark, but stretching for the wall, 26.54 for Simpson, and he will be fastest into that final.
Well, it was quick. That second heat
Was the oceanic record for Callum Simpson. Haridianen will be in that final. Amadeo will make it just by 1/100th of a second ahead of Reid Maxwell of Canada.
We said it would be tight.
It was. We still haven't had a swim off.
Stop saying that. You're right, though, we haven't, and we do normally get at least one throughout the course of.
Well, that's as close as you're going to get. 1/100th for 8th and 9th. Here is the lineup for heat number 1 of the 50 metres butterfly S7 for women. 3 swimmers from the USA in this first heat. USA, great record in the S7 classification. We spoke about that the other day, but not so much in this butterfly, this 50 butterfly event.
Oh, and in recent years it has been Canada's Danielle Doris that has dominated. And again, it's the Canadians actually that historically did very well in this event. Elizabeth Walker. I want to say way back when, but that sounds bad, doesn't it?
That was right.
98, 2000, and
98, yeah.
And then Danielle Campo as well.
Yeah, Brianna Nelson won in Montreal in 2013 for the Canadian team.
So they have got good pedigree.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Canadians will be represented in that second heat. Nicola St. Clair Maitland leads out this first heat. She goes in lane number 1. Annie Palia, neutral para athlete, in 2. Julia Gaffney and Mallory Wegeman, they go in 3 and 4 for the USA. Veronika Korsova, who had that great victory in the backstroke yesterday. The Ukrainian goes in lane number 5. Riley Sayer from New Zealand goes in 6, and Alia Littenberger goes in lane number 7. Well, there's Korsova in lane number 5. Riley Sayer, again, a newcomer to the New Zealand team, 17-year-olds. Korsova, again, we haven't seen too much of Korsova. She kind of burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, and she has had a great championships here in Singapore. Gold medalist in the backstroke, silver medalist in the individual medley. Mallory Wegeman, though, has a great record. She won this title in 2019. Paralympic silver medalist Wegeman from Paris.
Yeah, Wegerman gets a great start, but also a great start from Riley Sayer of New Zealand in 6. Bit of an unknown quantity in this one. But we're focused here on Wegerman as we go through 25 meters. She's just ahead of Sayer. Korsova building through now. She's coming back strongly, but it's Wegerman that leads the way in this first heat.
Yeah, Wegerman looking good here. Paralympic Games silver medalist is going to get ahead of Korsova, I think. Korsova coming back, but Wegerman has enough from that advantage she had at the start. 35.27 is not too bad at all for Mallory Wegerman. And she's been swimming fast heat swims, Mallory Wegerman. She's been delighted with her heat performances, I think.
Yeah, I think she's been delighted with her performances generally over the course of the week so far. You can see that great start from her that gets her up and into the lead. She first won this title back in 2010 in Eindhoven, and she's back to some of her best form.
Yeah, she certainly is. Wegerman there, 35.27. It's not too far away from the time she did in 2010 to win that world title. But Wegerman takes heat number 1 ahead of Korsova. Riley Sayer in 3rd, and that should be good enough for the New Zealander to get to that final. Annie Pallian is 1/100th ahead of Julia Gaffney in 4th. There's a lineup for heat number 2. The Dominican Republic swimmer Ibar in lane number 1. Ortiz Mendez from Mexico in 2. Shida from Japan in 3. Doris, Paralympic champion, world record holder, goes in 4. Vargas Blanco, Colombia in 5. We just saw Iona Winifred there, 14-year-old from Great Britain, going in 6. And there's Vargas Blanco. Final swimmer is Somela Manduano in lane number 7. 35.27 for Wegerman in the first heat. Can the world record holder go faster? Daniel Doris in the middle lane for Canada.
Well, it was a good reaction from Winifred, but the best start coming from world record holder, Paralympic champion, world champion Danielle Doris. She's looking strong here through the first 25 meters. She'll expect the field to start to come back at her. But again, on this shorter distance, that advantage really helps. And Vargas Blanco going well, but Doris way out in front.
And she's dominating this one into the last 5 now. Danielle Doris, 32.99 is the world record. And, well, 34.08. Not a bad time at all for Danielle Doris. And the championship record was only 33.98, so 6/100ths. In fact, 0.1 of a second exactly outside that championship record. Vargas Blanco in 2nd, Nishida in 3rd, Iona Winifred in 4th position. But Doris, great swim again. She's a second or so faster than Wegerman from that first heat, and looking in good shape, Danielle Doris.
Yeah, she looked good and she looks comfortable there. I'm sure she's got a bit more time left. It'll be an exciting race in this evening's final if those results are confirmed.
Yeah, well, Doris, some disqualification yesterday. She was reinstated and went on to take silver medal in the backstroke. Doesn't seem to be any difficulties now. She will lead them through. Doris, Wegerman, Korsova, Vargas Blanco, Riley Sayer will be there, Nishida, Pallian, and Gaffney will make it into the final in the outside lane. Iona Winifred of Great Britain will just miss out in 9th position. And again, Wegerman, Korsova, Doris, 3 swimmers in great form. 50 butterfly S7, there's the lineup for this first heat. Serrano Zarate and Sadi in lane 4 and 5. Latvian Semyonovs in lane number 6.
While we wait for this race to start, your favourite cam is back, Paul, on the scoreboard in the stadium. It's the Flex Cam.
Do you think they'll digitally enhance our Flex? You might not have to in your case. Been working out this week, haven't you?
Well, you know, trying. You can come with me at any time, you know.
Yeah, I'll think about that. I'll consider that. Yeah, Yeah, we're definitely in the second half of this one, officially in the second half of this competition. 7-day competition, we're down to day 5 now. It's gone quickly, hasn't it?
It has. I think after the first couple of days, once people settle in, the events just roll through, don't they? 101 gold medalists so far.
Out of 172 in total, yeah.
So we are, very much.
Another 25 to come today, so we'll be up to 126. And yeah, it's a good week of action. The swimmers haven't disappointed us at all, have they? We've had some fantastic races.
Yeah, there's been some quality racing, some fast swimming. The competition's had everything.
So those two in the middle, Serrano Zarate, Christian Sadi. Serrano Zarate took the gold medal in the breaststroke. He's swimming a smaller programme than we typically see him this week, missing out on a couple of events we've normally seen the Colombian in. Christian Sadi's got a heavy programme though, and he's taken 2 medals already. Bocelli goes in the outside lane there, right at the top for Italy. Baktoriov in 3, Zarate, Sadi and Semyonovs. That's the lineup for first heat.
Well, Sadi got off the block very well, but now that they're up and into the strokes, it is that pink hat of Serrano Zarate that's moved level with Sadi. They go through 15 meters together. Baktoriov going well in 3 as well.
And Sadi and Serrano Zarate into the wall together. Just the long arms of Serrano Zarate getting in ahead of Sadi. 30.01 and 30.32 and 31.84 for Baktoriov. 30 in 3rd place, Bocelli in 4th, 34.31. 30.01, decent time there from Serrano Zarate. Good time for Sadi as well, 30.32. He's been breaking African records, Sadi. He holds this one, 29.94, so he's not too far out from that. Just half a second, might see another African record go tonight.
He's definitely a swimmer in great form here this week.
Yeah, Serrano Zarate takes it, 30.01, that first heat. That's a target for the heat to come. And we'll see one of the home swimmers in this one, Towi Song. This is one of the events. Yeah, the crowd have noticed that their home swimmer is in this one. And, well, Towi Song got a chance here to do something. Certainly will make it into the final. He's the Asian champion in this event, this 50 meters butterfly. We've seen him in other events already this week, but this is reputation as a sprinter, good freestyler, butterfly swimmer. He goes in lane number 3. Adam Williams goes in 2. Towi Song in 3. Trusov in 4. Efrosinin in 5. Huang in 6. And Muskadanian from Georgia in lane number 7.
Well, Trusov straight up and into his stroke off the block. He leads the way. He is the Paralympic champion. He had a late start this week, but he started with precision yesterday, taking a gold medal in the 100 meters backstroke, and he's looking good here this morning.
Efrosinin also going well, but it's going to be Trusov now. Towi Song is going to be in 3rd place, I think. And it is Trusov, 30.03, 30.5. Towi Song in 3rd place in 32.46, so he should be safely into that final. Trusov and Efrosinin, though, out at front of the field. And Trusov, well, he's looking in decent shape, Andrei Trusov. As you said, Liz, we haven't seen him in some of the events we typically would see him in, but he's started yesterday with that gold medal performance in the backstroke, and he's looking to be one of the favourites for this one.
Yeah, and you can get a lot, like we said, a lot of these athletes had different preparations, but on the shorter events, it doesn't always make as much of a difference, especially the higher up the classification system you go. And Trusov looked good there. It'll be tight in the final if those results are confirmed. And there you can see the cardboard cutout of Towi Song.
He's one of these athletes who have been involved in the organisation of the championships. We both have water bottles with designed by Towi Song.
We do.
well, there's a little bit of a delay here, and I think we do have a disqualification in that second heat, but there's the qualifiers for the final. Sorana Zorati, Trusov, Baktoriov, and To Wee Sung is in there in 5th position. So, well, outside chance there for To Wee Sung, and it was Efrosinen who was disqualified in that one. So, the man who finished 2nd in that second heat is disqualified, and the Singaporean athlete gets bumped up a place, and he will qualify for the final in 5th place. So an outside chance there, Liz, but it's going to be tough in that 50 fly. It looked a good, strong lineup in those 2 heats.
It is now. We're just getting a glimpse of Jacobo Garrido Brun's fans. As you said, so many people have made such an effort with their supporter paraphernalia this time around.
Yeah, that's something we need to learn from, I think.
We can't. We have to be neutral.
Yeah, but we can have our own stuff. I can have a Liz Johnson
I'll
t-shirt. You can have a
support
Paul Noble
Okay.
t-shirt.
I'm already your biggest fan.
Oh, you've got many fans. I couldn't possibly say I was your biggest fan. Not all your fans around the world. As we found out this week. Don't shake your head, John. We're into the S12 Women's 100 Freestyle. Ella Letton-Jones from Great Britain. A youngster who's had such good World Championships, 19 years of age. Hilme Micah Schwartz from Germany in 3. Iona Tsujutsi from Japan in 4. Maria Delgado Nadal in 5. Maria Latraskaya in 6. And Zheng Jitong in lane number 7. And all but one of these swimmers have already taken medals in other events this week. We saw Iona Tsujutsi and Maria Delgado Nadal also feature yesterday. 50 fly, 100 fly, sorry, for Maria Delgado Nadal. She took the gold medal, and she goes in the centre lane. CS12s will have tappers as well for the visually impaired swimmers, and they go over the halfway point. Delgado Nadal leads them.
By 200, she is ahead of Tsujuchi of Japan, with Schwartz, who had an excellent 50 for Germany in 3rd at the turn. But watch out for Latraskaya in lane 6. She often comes back strongly, but she looks like she's left a bit of a gap to the leading 3 here this morning.
And it is going to be lane number 4, Tsujutsi into the wall first. The Paralympic Games, that bronze medalist takes the tap at the end, and it was a good second half for her. Delgado Nadal will be 2nd, Schwartz will be 3rd, and Letton-Jones coming through for 4th. But 102.01 for Iona Tsujutsi. Delgado Nadal in 2nd in 102.86, and Schwartz 103.03. It was all very tight in the early stages there, but the Japanese swimmer looked good in that second 50.
Yeah, she moved through the field well. She'd given herself a good position at the turn, but she looked strong in those closing stages. Again, fastest 8 through to the final.
There was a tap in the middle of the back almost for Tsujutsi there.
Yeah, we've talked about how different swimmers have their preferences. No rule on where you can be tapped.
Tsujutsi takes that one, 102.01. Delgado Nadal in 2nd, Schwartz in 3rd. These 3, I think, should be safe enough for the final. Ella Letton-Jones will have a little bit of a wait to see if she has another swim tonight. There's been a withdrawal from heat number 2. But we do have Astrid Carroll from Great Britain in lane number 2. 2 from Brazil, it's Lucilene da Silva Souza and Maria Gomez Santiago, both members of that record-breaking relay team yesterday. Alicia Berra from Italy in lane number 5, and Karina Petrakovicheva in lane number 6 from Slovakia. So just 5 swimmers here taking the start. So a close contest for that first heat, but very much the favourite for this one will be Maria Carolina Gomez Santiago, the reigning world and Paralympic champion.
Yeah, Yeah, she sits at the top of the world rankings, almost a second and a half quicker than anyone else in the field. She's the only swimmer with an entry time under the minute mark. But De Silva Souza, her teammate in lane 3 there in that blue hat, is having a brilliant week here in Singapore. She gets her feet to the wall first, 29.33 to 29.62 for Gomez Santiago, with Petra Kvitschkova in third at the turn, 30.60. But now that strength of Gomez Santiago starts to come through. They won't need to go too hard here this morning.
She's won the last 3 world titles, Gomez Santiago, starting back in 2019, and she is just easing through at the end. Very comfortable for the 2 Brazilians, 102.06 and 102.66 respectively. Alicia Berra coming through in 104.46 for third, and Petra Kvitschkova ahead of Astrid Carroll, 105.92 and 106.96 respectively. But good swims there from the 2 Brazilians, and that looked very comfortable indeed.
It did, and there's plenty more from those athletes. They didn't need to do too much. That's a bonus. We talk about heats. Sometimes being in that second heat, you then know what the swimmers have done in the first heat. And if it isn't too close and too tight, which you've seen in some of the earlier events this morning, then you do have that luxury of being able to pace it comfortably. We'll wait for those results to be confirmed. We saw a number of the swimmers being tapped here, and again, it's such an important part of the race for these visually impaired athletes, and when they have a bad experience, it can really affect their confidence.
Tajutsi will lead them through into the final, 5 100s ahead of Gomez Santiago. 2 Great Britain swimmers were 8th and 9th, but this time the contest won by Ella Lett-Jones, knocking her teammate out of that top 8. But 2 from Brazil will be in that final, but Japan will lead the way. Tajutsi looking good. Member of that Japanese medal winning relay team last night as well. 100 freestyle for men in the S12 classification. The visually impaired swimmers making their way out now. Again, 2 heats of this one, 7 due to take the start in the first heat and 8 in the second. So again, looking at the entry times, Liz, there's not going to be much between any of these swimmers. We're not seeing many people are going to be hanging about in this one.
No, they really can't afford to. And as we say, in these visually impaired races, especially S12 category, you can't always see their competitors either. So it's more like, some of them, it's more like swimming a time trial.
Yeah, some big names in this one as well. Evan Wilkinson in lane number 1 from the USA, Douglas Matera from Brazil into Ilya Yarmenko, Ukraine in 3, Raman Salai, who's had a good week so far, gold and silver medalist already at these championships. Ivan Salguero Oteiza from Spain, first of the 3 Spanish, Villarreal Martin and Ferran Gutierrez in 5, 6 and 7. Yarmenko, winner of the gold medal in the 50 freestyle in lane 3. We'll see if he goes out fast.
Well, there was an excellent reaction time from Matera in 2 for Brazil, but the strong underwater start coming from Salai in lane number 4. He is the defending world champion, but Yarmenko has great 50 speed. He's just coasting out at the moment. Salguero Oteiza going well for Spain. Salai turns first, 25.61 ahead of the Spaniard, 26.09, with Matera 26.45. But it's all very close as the red hat of Raman Salai just edges Salguero Oteiza.
Yeah, good head-to-head here. Salguero Oteiza and Raman Salai look like they are clear here. Matera still going well up there in lane number 2. He's going to get into 3rd position, I think. But a good swim there from Salguero Oteiza, 54.00, faster than the entry time for him. 54.79 for Raman Salai. That should be good enough for the final. And 55.52 for Douglas Matera. Again, should be good enough for that final, you would think, Liz, but a very fast heat to come. Villarreal Martin gets in ahead of Yarmenko, 56.03 and 56.19.
It's all going to be very close. As predicted, the second heat is loaded. some informed swimmers to come as well. But Salguero Orteza will be delighted with that. He's leapfrogged himself to the top of the world rankings, for now at least.
Yeah, very powerful swim there. Ahead of Raman Salai. Good finish from the Spanish swimmer. This is heat number 2. 8 swimmers taking this one. There are 5 swimmers from the neutral para-athletes. 2 from Ukraine, Varaksa and Michka, and Kilian Portal from France. Young French swimmer, 18-year-old, had a wonderful swim to win the 100 meters butterfly a couple of days ago. The world record holder, Maxim Varaksa of Ukraine. What a record he has over the years. A record set in 2009, very fast, 50.91 for the Ukrainian.
Yeah, there was a strong reaction time there from Igor Kuzmin in 6 in that yellow hat, but now that they're up and into the strokes, it is the centre lanes leading the way, the experienced Varaksa and Dimitri Salai going very well in these early stages. They're stroke for stroke as they come into the turn with young Kilian Portal keeping them company, and it is Salai 26.15 from 26.39 for Varaksa, with Portal just 1/100th behind after 50.
Yeah, it's still very, very tight at the front of the field now. Maybe the 2 in the centre lanes, possibly going through Varaksa and Dimitri Salai are going to be 1 and 2 here. Kilian Portal looking safe in 3rd position. Guk going well for neutral para-athletes there in lane number 2, and he will get into 4th, but Salai will be in 54.24, 2/100ths ahead of Varaksa. Kilian Portal also in the 54 second range, 54.63 for him, with Timofey Guk in 55.26. Should be good enough to make it into that final, but there's going to be a lot of people on the 54 range, Liz.
Yeah, it was all very close there. Nothing much to choose between anyone. 3/4 of a second separating the top 5 swimmers as we wait for those results to be confirmed and then confirmation of the qualifiers. The fastest 8 will progress.
Yeah, I think the result is okay. I think we can see in the venue, it doesn't look like there have been any disqualifications on that one. And here we have it, Salguero Orteza will lead them into that final. Look how close it is, 1.5 between absolutely everyone. Igor Kuzmin making it in 8th position, 55.69. Rio Martin just missing out, 56 second race. So 55 points to make that final, Liz. Again, another close contest in prospect. Salguero Orteza looked good.
He did, and now we're going back to the other end for some more sprint 50-meter freestyles. This time we are with the men's S6, but what a bunch of fast racing that we've been promised for tonight.
It's going to be some close races. Again, another event, no clear favourite, just who can step up on the day, isn't it?
And ultimately get that touch, isn't it? Because there's so little between them. It's all about who can hold their nerve and put together the best race on the night.
Absolutely. Heat number 1 for the women's 50. No, start again. Heat number 1 for the men's 50 freestyle. S6 Nelson Crispin goes in that centre lane there. Vladislav Koshman in lane 5. And the Raul Gutierrez Bermudez, the only Gutierrez Bermudez brother to go in this event this time.
And we want to give a shout out to the schools who are here with us supporting.
We've got those fans. We've got some of them.
We have, yes, somebody did bring some up. We've also got fancy fans though now, haven't we? I don't know what happens. That's it. Ruin your microphone.
Yeah, that's right. That might interfere there.
I'm not standing here or sitting here and fanning you for the next hour. I like you, but not that much.
Well, there's the schools that are coming in now. Some interesting faces there as they see each other, see themselves on the big screen here in the venue.
It is a massive screen as well, so...
Absolutely is, and the angle that we're looking at. We see those big rows of school pupils there. stretching on forever. It's great to see the schools here embracing these championships, isn't it?
Yeah, and they got to see a whole swimmer this morning, and the volume definitely went up.
Yeah, Singapore, they are on the medal podium with Yip Pinju. Silver medal the other day. She'll be back again for other events in these championships, so still chances for Singapore to hit the medal podium again and to hit the top spot potentially. It'd be lovely to hear the Singaporean national anthem, wouldn't it?
It would. There's still opportunity, as you said. The week is drawing ever closer to a close.
It is, yeah, but of course you just never know. Some people with their best events to come at the tail end of the programme. That's the kind of trick, isn't it? Just to keep your focus all that time. Here's the first heat of this 50 freestyle S6. Moni de Oliveira, Ivsenko, Crispin, Koshman, Raul Gutierrez, Bermudez, and Bigino, closest to us here. Crispin will be the favourite for this one. The Colombian goes in line 4.
He does a good start up there at the top for Melon de Oliveira of Brazil as well, but it's the centre lanes, as you would expect, that are battling this one out. Crispin Corzo and Koshman of the Ukraine going very well. Crispin Corzo has found some decent form this week here in Singapore, and he looks strong this morning.
Yeah, Koshman, relatively newcomer to the major championships, and Crispin Corzo looks across there, sees that he is in the first position, 29.72 for Crispin. That should secure his place into that top 8 tonight. Koshman, a good swim there, under the 30-second mark, so he'll be delighted with that one, with an entry time of 30.4. It's great shots we're getting here at the starts, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's such a range of starts, especially as we talk about in this S6 classification group. And it is really showcasing everybody at their best.
Crispin takes it, 29.72. Koshman in second. Ivshenko in a good position to make it through to that top 8. 31.48 for the neutral para-athlete. Here's a lineup for heat number 2. Antonio Fantin, championship record holder, goes for Italy in this one. 2 more Colombians, Leon Prada and Rendon Acosta. And Colombians, well, they were out in force the other day, weren't they, in the 200 IM, all the Colombians, the 100 freestyle as well.
Yeah, and the 400 freestyle, and actually Leon Prada had an excellent first half of that 400. See if he can transfer that into some sprint speed.
And again, all similar impairments to the likes of Nelson Crispin and Daniel Serrano Zarate.
Yeah, and it goes to show, once you see somebody similar to you, it shows you what's possible, which is why role models in society are so important.
Well, in this one, Fantin going from the water in lane number 4. Chardard, the French World Championship medalist, last time out in lane number 3. Leon Prada and Rendon Acosta in 5 and 6.
Well, you can see Fantin slower off the start, but once he's up and into his stroke, that powerful high stroke rate for the Italian starts to cut through the field. But Leon Prada going very well here for Colombia. As we go through 35 meters, he leads the way, but here comes the charge of the Italian.
Well, Fantin just about going to get the edge here into the wall, and he does, just 29.42. Well, again in the 29-second range for Antonio Fantin. He's looking to do the freestyle treble. He won the 100, he won the 400, and he's in pole position, I think, for this 50. Leon Prada, 29.87 for the Colombian. And that's going to be in the mix as well. Rendon Acosta will be in that final, 30.92. And there's that high turnover there. That's Leon Prada, as Fantin just had the reach at the end, but a great swim from Leon Prada there. 17-year-old. Wow, what a talent he is.
Yeah, dipping under that 30-second mark, always a good benchmark.
Colombia will have 3 in that final. Antonio Fantin will lead the way though. Well, again, another one. It's going to be very tight, and it's going to be an interesting one because, as we saw, Fantine goes from the water, comes through strong in the end. The swimmers will have a lead on him, but the Italian generally comes back. But will he run out of water at the end? That's the question, isn't it? Women's 200 IM, SM14. 3 from Great Britain in this one Adomi heat.
Well, the Paralympic champion goes in lane number 4, Valeria Shabalina, the neutral para-athlete. So often we talk about her being the athlete that upsets the British prospect of a 1-2-3. We had an S14 relay last night, and we said about the depth that Great Britain seems to have in this classification group.
Yeah, Brazil pushed the Great Britain team close, didn't they, for a long period in that relay?
Yeah, they had an excellent swim last night, Brazil. They've taken the gold medal in the relay before, in the 49-point relay for visually impaired athletes, and it definitely seemed to buoy their squad.
Absolutely great swim from the British team, though, to take that gold medal in the relay last night. Poppy Maskell was part of that team. She's back in again in lane number 5 here this morning. So Great Britain, 3 swimmers, as I said, in this one. It's 200 meters individual medley. You've got Salinas Rojas from Mexico going in lane number 1. Kajol Mata, also a medalist in that relay yesterday. Thai team getting the bronze medal behind Great Britain and Brazil. Pernilla Lindberg, who's been a champion before in this event in 2017. Olivia Newman-Baronius goes to Great Britain in lane number 3. Shabalina, Paralympic champion, the world record holder, the neutral para-athlete, goes in lane number 4. Poppy Maskell, second behind Shabalina at the Paralympic Games last year. She goes in 5. Bethany Firth, reigning world champion from 2023 and from 2022. She goes for Great Britain in lane 6. Chung Ho Ying from Hong Kong goes in 7, and Janina Falk goes in lane number 8 for Austria.
Well, the 2 outside lanes on either side of the pool are the ones who are going to be battling it out to try and make it into that final. The centre lane swimmers that we can see going well in these early stages. Pretty comfortable qualification for them if they stick to their race plan. Poppy Maskell goes through first, 29.60 ahead of Firth, 30.15, with Newman-Baronius just 1/100th behind.
On the S14 classification, as you said, Liz, this is one for swimmers with an intellectual impairment.
It is, and they, again, all have different things that impact their swimming, which is what always makes it so exciting and a little unpredictable at times. Going well here now, though, in that first 100 is Firth. She doesn't really have a weak stroke, Bethany Firth. Her breaststroke is strong. Newman-Baronius had an excellent breaststroke in the individual event the other day, so watch out for her. But Shabalina has split the Brits. So now it's Firth, Maskell, Shabalina, Newman-Baronius in the top 4. But not much in it. They're still ahead, all still in the picture that we can see here. Going well right at the top of the pool in 0 is Salinas Rojas. She's doing everything she can to give herself the chance of not being the athlete that gets dropped into this final. And as we go through, it is the breaststroke of Olivia Newman-Baronius has come through strongly. She turns onto the final 50 in the lead. 151.49 ahead of 154.47 for Shabalina, with Firth 156.02. But again, this is pretty comfortable qualification, or it should be, for these 4 swimmers in the centre lanes.
Yeah, it will be very comfortable. Just see them all getting a little bit spread out here. Olivia Newman-Baronius is going to be first into the wall, though, and she will touch in that time of 2:26.89. In second place, it will be Shabalina, the world record holder, in 2:30.51. Maskell and Firth separated by around about half a second. Poppy Maskell 2:32.09. Bethany Firth 2:32.63. Salinas Rojas will make it in 2:35 for the Mexican in that outside lane. Pernilla Lindberg will be there. Chung will be there as well, and Kadra Mata. Janina Falk will be the one to miss out, I think, if that result is confirmed.
Well, if that result is confirmed, it's a little difficult to read too much into those heat swims this morning. Numa Baronius did look strong at the front there to finish at the top of the pile. But they were very controlled swims from all of those athletes in the middle of the pool.
Numa Baronius, the world leader this year in 2:24, but no one else has gone faster than 2:26. So good time there for Olivia Newman Baronius. Great Britain, she will lead the way. It'll be 3 from Great Britain in that final, but they will be split by the neutral para-athlete. Shabalina goes in that final in second position. Another Great Britain in this heat 1 for the men's 200 individual medley. Rhys Darby in the middle lane.
Well, we talked about that relay last night for the S14 athletes, and right there in lane 2 after Xavier Ribeira, he led the Brazilians off, I would say, in a pretty surprising first 100 metres freestyle split. He got in a 10th of a second ahead of William Ellard.
Yeah, it was a great swim, wasn't it, after Xavier Ribeiro? And he'll be one to watch. That'll give him much confidence, I think, going into this individual medley. It was an absolutely cracking swim for the Brazilian. It was a good swim, as we said, all round for the relay teams, the Brazilian relay team and also the Great Britain relay team as well. So 2 Brazilians in this one, 2 Japanese swimmers, 1 from Great Britain, 1 from Australia and 1 from Ukraine. That'll be the lineup for this one. 7 swimmers in this first heat, 8 in the second. We have Murakami from Japan right up at the top. There's Arthur Xavier Ribeiro in lane number 2. What can he do, that tall figure of the Brazilian in lane number 2. Yamaguchi, the breaststroke champion, world record holder, goes in lane 3 for Japan. Rhys Darby from Great Britain, Paralympic Games, silver medalist in this event. He goes in 4. Ricky Bitter with that gold cap of Australia in 5. Vasil Krajnic, Ukraine, in 6. And João Pedro Brutos de Oliveira for Brazil. Again, another very strong breaststroker. He goes in lane number 7.
Well, Darby turns first, just 1/10 of a second ahead of Bitter, 26.90 for the British swimmer. Xavier Ribeiro was 3rd at the turn. He's got a strong backstroke, but going well now in lane number 4 is still Rhys Darby. He's got a very strong freestyle finish, the British athlete. He always comes back strongly, but he turns first at the halfway point, 59.92. 1 minute, 0.85 for Australia and Bitter, and Vasil Krajnic has moved up into the 3rd position at the halfway point, 101.19.
It's unusual to see Rhys Darby at the front of the field, isn't it? We're so used to him making his way through the field. Traditionally had started the butterfly a little bit slower, worked through on the backstroke and the breaststroke very strong, and then stormed in the freestyle. He's done that in the major championships before, but this time he's at the head of the field and looking good, the British swimmer.
Yeah, he turns first, 136.79, but breaststroke specialist Yamaguchi has moved his way through the field on that one. He's moved up 3 places, sorry, from 5th to 2nd as we move on to the freestyle leg. But Rhys Darby looking comfortable at the front for Great Britain.
Yeah, looking very comfortable indeed. We'll just keep an eye on the clock here as Rhys Darby comes into the last 5. Championship record 2:07.50, and he's just outside that, 2:08.09 for Rhys Darby. Well, that's faster than he went in the Paralympic final last year to claim silver. That breaststroke helped Yamaguchi through into the 2nd position, 2:12.10 And Ricky Bita in third place in 2:12.89. Well, great swim from Rhys Darby. I think that's a lifetime best for him, Liz.
Yeah, he's already been 2:08.4 this year, so he's just moved it along ever so slightly. He looked comfortable there at the front of the pack. Like you said, typically we see him not feature so prominently at the front for the first 150 meters and then finish strongly, but we've seen a lot of strong freestylers in this S14 classification group, and so he's worked hard to make sure that he's not in that position.
And Rhys Darby 2:08.09, that is an excellent target for the heat to come. Yamaguchi in second, Ricky Bita in third there. There's the lineup for this next heat. The world record holder, Paralympic champion Nicholas Bennett of Canada will go in lane number 4. It's Asher Smith-Franklin from New Zealand in 1. Dylan Broom, Great Britain, next to his teammate Cameron Verncombe. They go in 2 and 3. Nicholas Bennett, Paralympic champion, world champion from Canada, goes in 4. Gabriel Bandeira from Brazil, he goes in lane number 5. Rodion Bernik from the neutral para-athlete team goes in 6. Mipron from Thailand in 7, and Nadia Kalili from Finland right down there in lane number 8. Centre lanes, well, Bandeira off to a good start. Cameron Verncombe actually in second place as they go through that 50 metres butterfly. Bernik ahead of Bennett in the early stages.
Yeah, Bennett fourth by 4 100ths after that butterfly turn. He has got a strong second half and middle 100 of this individual medley, the Canadian Paralympic champion. So watch out for him. Going well though still is Bandeira for Brazil. Breaststroke probably his weakest of the 4 legs, but he's come into this championships swimming very well indeed. He either tends to swim really well or just miss the mark slightly, but he seems to have got the preparation for this week here in Singapore right, and he's been there or thereabouts, broken some America's records, so he's swimming with confidence. But here comes Bennett with that breaststroke, moving through the field now, just edging ahead of Bandeira, who slips back from that first position for the first time across this heat. Verncombe going well for Great Britain as well. It'll be these 3 that come into the final turn. Bennett 137.8 to 138.83 for Verncombe. Bandeira dropping down 138.93.
Bennett really hunted down that Bandeira there on that breaststroke. And the Paralympic world champion Bennett from Canada looking good here. Bandeira not really posing a threat here for the Canadian. They are both going to just ease in, I think. Bennett, it's going to be a decent enough time for him, and he is very similar to the time for Rhys Darby, 2:08.17. Bandeira might have a little bit more to give in that final, I think. 2:10.01 for the Brazilian. Cameron Verncombe gets in for third, 2:11.23 ahead of Bernik in 2:11.62, and Dylan Broom 2:13.78. But as you said, Liz, Bennett looked good as soon as he got into the breaststroke. It's a real weapon for the Canadian, isn't it? Alongside the Bandeira.
Yeah, he looks strong, Bennett there. Breaststroke, I think the thing with we say about the breaststroke being so important on the medley, and if you're good at it, it does give you so much confidence because you just cut through the field, and Bennett's got the freestyle to back it up.
Rhys Darby is fastest into the final, just 8 100ths ahead of Nicholas Bennett from Canada. Gabriel Bandeira will be there. And finalists, Verncombe will be fourth, Bernik, Yamaguchi, Beta, and Dylan Broom will make it 3 GB swimmers in that top 8. Rhys Darby looked good, Nicholas Bennett looked good as well. Those 2 will start as favourites at Paralympic Games gold and silver medalists again, just underlining the quality of the field here in Singapore. Women's 50 freestyle S3, 2 heats of this one, and heat number 1 championship record holder is Leanne Smith of the USA. It's good to see Leanne Smith back in good form as well at these championships, isn't it?
Yeah, she's swimming really well. We did see her a couple of years ago really have some challenging health conditions, but she's back and she's swimming some of her best. She got right down yesterday to close to where she's been.
Yeah, she had a great World Championships in 2022. She won 7 gold medals. She was the most medal athlete at those 22 World Championships. But again, as you said, she kind of suffered health issues, didn't do so well in the last World Championships in 2023. But yeah, she's back with a vengeance now, Leanne Smith. The full lineup for this one is the S3 classification. It's a combined event. We do have an S2 swimmer swimming up in the next heat, but all the swimmers in this one are S3s. It's Ali van Wixmart up there at the top for Canada. Zoya Shirova will go neutral para athlete in 3. Leanne Smith looking to add another medal to her tally this week. She goes in line number 4. Delia Fontcuberta Severa for Spain goes in lane number 5. Maria Pereira Barreto for Brazil goes in 6. Right down at the bottom, Annalena Maltseva from Ukraine in lane number 7 again. You would think Fontcuberta and Leanne Smith, it'll be fairly easy qualifications for those two in this S3 50 freestyle. Again, the S3 classifications, range of starting options here for the swimmers.
Yeah, and also some athletes preferring to swim backstroke in this one. The 2 athletes in the centre lane, so Leanne Smith and Fontcuberta Severa swimming that more traditional front crawl stroke on the freestyle, and Smith looking very good through the 25 metres. She's up and away.
And Smith now just pulling away from the Spanish swimmer Fontcuberta Severa. Again, first World Championships for the Spanish swimmer, but Leanne Smith, another World Championships for her, and looking to add another medal. She just eases in to the wall, 42.30 for Leanne Smith, so that'll secure her place in that final. Fontcuberta Severa, 46.80 to finish in second. They're some way ahead of the rest of the field. Shirova will be in third place, 58.94. So as the other swimmers come into the finish,
Pereira Barreto there just stopping the clock, 109 dead. So, but Smith there that we're focusing on now, that was a very comfortable heat swim for her. She's got more time in the tank. You can see the range of starts here. Smith straight up, pushes off that strong hand and straight up and into her stroke. And she settled in really well, really early on. And by 25 metres, she was already away.
And she had a good swim in the relay. She finished on that kind of shorter arm stroke as well, so maybe she's got a little bit more to give. She has dipped under the 40-second mark this year. 39.99 was her entry time. 42.30 this time for Leanne Smith. Delia Fontcuberta Severa will be in the final as well. 46.80. I think 58.94 should be good enough for Shirova. Here are the starters for heat number 2 of this 50 freestyle. Var Bilge from Turkey, the S2 swimmer, swimming up against the S3s. Sigurdar Dottir from Iceland, we saw her in the final yesterday, her 8th World Championships. Kanati goes in lane number 3. There's no one in 4. We have Fernandez Infante in 5. Patricia Valli. We spoke about her on day 1 of the competition, her 11th World Championship. Patricia Valli started back in 1998. And Sobota for Poland in lane number 7.
As they get off of the start signal, it's Fernandez Infante of Spain, who looks good in the early age stages. We've seen her in the relays and some events earlier this week, and she's looking good here. She goes through 25 meters. Mencionate of Italy going well. She has got Vale Benitez for company, the experienced Mexican, in lane 6. But it's Fernandez Infante that will take this one out.
And she is a defending champion. She won the title in 2023. Let's see where she can get in under the 46-second mark. 45.88 for Fernandez Infante. Not as fast as the first heat for Leanne Smith, but she will be in second place. So those two main contenders, you would think, Fernandez Infante and Leanne Smith, they will be in those centre lanes. Patricia Valley under the 1 minute mark as well. And that will get her into somewhere around about 4th or 5th, I think, into that final. Michinate in 3rd place for Italy, just over the 1 minute mark.
Yes, we look now up to Ebra Bilge, the swimmer from Turkey, S2 athlete, swimming up in this S3 classification. There's only one set of medals available, but if your classification does not have an event and you are eligible, then you can swim in the next available classification group, and that's what's happening here. We're seeing from Bilge, but what a swim from Fernandez Infante. Bang on time that she has been this year, so she's brought her best form into this heat swim, and you'd expect her to drop some time into the final. Mencionate of Italy swam exactly the same time as her entry time.
That's consistent.
So we've talked about the consistency of some of these athletes as we get those results confirmed.
Leanne Smith and Marta Fernandez Infante and Delia Pontecuberta Severa, they'll be the favourites to take the medal tonight. Patricia Valley is in the final again in her 11th World Championships. What a performer she has been over the years. And it is, well, Sobota from Poland will take that final spot, 109.62. So it was under 110 to make it into that final. Again, the 50s continue, Les. We have a 50 freestyle S3 for men. And there is the lineup. Again, it's a combined event. We have Gabriel dos Santos Arujo, an S2 swimmer from Brazil, up against the S3s in this heat. So, this heat to come, 50 freestyle. These are coming thick and fast this morning.
It's very much a sprint freestyle day, isn't it?
Yes.
Here this morning. See, there will be a few more finals tonight to break things up. A lot of those races going direct to final, which means there's no need for heat qualification. But in their absence, it just seems to be freestyle, freestyle, freestyle.
Well, we had a breaststroke day, was it yesterday?
We had a backstroke day as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Earlier in the week as well.
Not exclusively backstroke, of course, but just the predominance of events seem to be that, and it's freestyle day today, certainly, predominantly. Just having some more crowd interaction, Liz, in the venues. Air guitar can now. We had that last night. There were some great features here.
How is your air guitar?
Well, a bit rusty, I think. How's yours? You're not really a guitarist,
Not for
are you?
me, no. I don't think so.
No.
I'm better at the wobbly tube man that goes on.
Yeah, that'll be good.
There's a tube man.
That's just us generally, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
As Reese Derby supporters, I think. We can just make that out. Team Reese. Well, they'll be pleased with the performance of their man earlier on. There's some of the school kids as well. Really enjoying themselves. One team is great, the organisers have got these school kids in, we keep saying that, but you know, they've really added something to the atmosphere in the morning's heats. They all sit in the front rows of the heats there, cheer on every single one of the swimmers. Occasionally we get a little beat going, don't we, with the drum. And they cheer on the swimmers in some of the events, but yeah, fantastic addition.
They've got great, they've got those sticks, haven't they?
Yeah.
They can bang together,
Kind of ear
lots
sticks
of noise.
Well, the S3 men coming out. And again, S1 to S10, those physical impairments. So we're at the higher impairment end of the para swimming classifications. is going to step up here for this one. Line up for this one. Philippines represented by IM SM14 in lane number 1. Krzysztof Lichniak goes in 2 for Poland. Palamarchuk from Ukraine in 3. Fastest entry time is Gabriella Lorenzo from Italy, who took a bronze medal in the individual medley early on. Kubatunlu, the Paralympic champion from Turkey, goes in lane number 5. We have Diego Lopez Diaz, experienced campaigner for Mexico. He goes in lane number 6. He was world champion in 2019 and in 2022. Gabriel dos Santos Araujo, the S2 swimmer, swimming up against the S3s. He goes in lane number 7, and Patricio Larenas Albaya, Chile swimmer, goes in lane number 3. Well, 50 freestyle it is. As we saw some of the earlier events, there'll be a range of techniques, a range of strokes employed here by some of the swimmers. Dos Santos Araujo, the S2, who's been medalist, gold medalist here in 2 events already this week. He goes in lane 7. Might get one of the best starts, the S2 swimmers, as he goes from the block.
Take your marks.
It is Dos Santos Araujo off the block, as was Tnamazan up in lane 1. But already, as we hit the early stages of this race, Italian Lorenzo is at the front of the field. 1 lane up for him. The experienced Palamarchuk going well as they go through that 25-meter mark. It's still all very tight behind them, though. Swimmers in 5, 6, and 7. So that's Unlo, Lopez Diaz, and Dos Santos Araujo right there with them.
Yeah, Lorenzo going really well here in lane number 4, the Italian. And Palamarchuk also going well. Unlo's got a little bit of a tussle with Lopez Diaz for 3rd position. But again, it is Lorenzo, 45.17 for the Italian. So excellent time there from Gabriel Lorenzo. Palamarchuk in 2nd. Lopez Diaz wins that close contest with Unlu for 3rd place. So the Paralympic champion from last year, Unlu, it's a little bit of danger here in 4th place with a big heat to come.
It'll be a nervous wait for Unlu. We've talked about how in the lower classification groups, a slight drop in like the way that you're swimming can have a big impact on the time. But similarly, the other way, we've seen some big improvements, and Lorenzo looked great there. He's got a bit more time in the tank based on his times from this year, but he does top those results.
And the 19-year-old Italian, 45.15. So 4 swimmers under the 50-second mark, but Unlu, the Paralympic champion, 49.72. Well, it's going to be close, I think. 2nd heat to come.
He won that gold medal in Paris in a 44.8. So that just goes to show what we're talking about. And it is a pretty stacked heat to come. So it'll be a bit of an anxious wait for Unlu.
Well, we have in this one, Nakanaram from Thailand, Kelly from Australia, Sono, the young Peruvian 14-year-old, he goes into Ostapchenko. So good in the backstroke yesterday to take gold. Bobarev from neutral para athlete. Josiah Top from Germany. He's in good form this week as well. Daniel Ferrer Robles, good start yesterday in the backstroke. Zarate Rodriguez of Mexico and Kaisri from Thailand. 2 Thai swimmers on either side of the pool. Top will go from the block as well. Ahmed Kelly.
Take your marks.
And also Akanaram from the blocks in lane 0. Kaisri outside lane.
So there were the swimmers from the block. Everyone else starting in the water. The last 2 pop up will be Uzziah Top of Germany. We're looking at Kelly, who had a good start with that butterfly type style, but it's Top, who had an excellent Paralympic Games for Germany last year in Paris, and he's really continued that form into these championships. He goes through the 35-meter mark. The rest of the field chasing him down. Robles coming back, but it is going to be Top that leads.
Yeah, Paralympic Games bronze medalist here, Josiah Top from Germany, and he is going to be into the wall in first position here in 47.24. Not quite as fast as the first heat. Ostapchenko will be in second, Robles in third, Boborev in fourth, all under the 50-second mark. And I think the Paralympic champion Unlu from the first heat will be safe, but only just. He will be in 8th place, but good swim from Top. German swimmer on great form this week.
Well, like we said, cliche number 152, you got to be in it to win it. And if Ulu does scrape in, then he's got that chance. But we saw what Ostapchenko was capable of when he won the backstroke, and he's one of those swimmers that does swim backstroke in this freestyle. But Top, with that dive, then has that advantage, and he looked comfortable this morning.
Top will win that one in 47.24. He will progress to the final, but not in the top spot. That will go to Lorenzo from Italy. Palomarcho Top will be there. Ostapchenko, Lopez Diaz, Ferrer Robles, Boborev, and Unlu will just scrape into that final. But he'll be a danger from the outside line. We haven't really seen much from Unlu this week, but he had a great games in Paris last year, winning the 50 free and the 200 free as well. So Unlu will certainly be a danger from lane number 8. I think that'll be time when we say danger all over the pool tonight. We'll watch out for that cliche.
Well, when you've got your Paralympic champion out there in lane 8, anything's possible. We can get to say, if you've got a lane, you've got a chance. If anyone's got any more, just send them in.
Oh. Here we go, S11. The one and only heat of 100 freestyle. The S11 swimmers with no vision. The world record holder is David Kratochvil of Czechia. He set that world record earlier this year in France. 56.07.
Maybe I've just spent too long sat next to you or hanging out with you. All of these issues. Everyone's getting very excited in the crowd. They've seen themselves on the screen. You can see them there, just in that wide angle.
There they are. Yeah, they picked the right section of the crowd here. Here we go.
You know what? It's because we are ahead of time in our scheduling. Really? Yes.
Wow.
That's what that is.
We're bang on, aren't we? Organisers doing a great job here for us at these championships.
Lots of different people involved in making this happen. We just spotted our taxi drivers on the other side of the pool. They've come in to see some of the action. They've left now, Paul. I know you're looking for them again.
I am.
They've gone.
Yeah.
They were here. They've gone. That's who I was waving to when you looked confused.
Oh, see, yeah, I was confused there. But you wave to a lot of people, Liz, so it's not surprising. They all know you.
It's because I hang out with you.
Not sure that's the case. We are for the S11s. The S11s always produce some great drama for us. We have seen some sensational races this week. What about that individual medley? Danilo Chufarov just taking that individual medley title from Roger Dossman in the final few strokes. Kratochvil has been on great form. He's won the 50 freestyle. He's won the butterfly as well. Dorsman has won the breaststroke. There's Matakis from Lithuania. Wonderful 50 meters freestyle. The Lithuanian is going double the distance this time, the 100 freestyle. Full lineup, Kozlowski from Poland will go in the outside lane. In lane 0 right at the top, Mikhail Serbin from Ukraine will go in lane number 1. Raina Correia de Souza goes for Brazil in lane 2. Danilo Chufarov, winner of that individual medley yesterday, and the reigning world champion, he goes in lane number 3. David Kratochvil, the new star of this S11 class, the 17-year-old world record holder, goes in 4. Dorsman in 5, Matakis in 6, Cantero Rivera in 7, Debela Jara, who had a great 50, goes in 8, and Zverblis from Lithuania in lane number 9.
Well, nothing really to separate them off the start. Matakis in 6 went well, but Dorsman in 5 probably having the best underwater. Already though, it is Kotochville who leads the way. He's about half a body length ahead of the rest of the field through 35 meters, and he's looking very strong as they come into the turn. He takes the tap. It will be 27.70 for Kotochville.
Yeah, great first 50 for Kotochville. Again, as we saw in the previous events, very important not to get tangled up with those lane ropes. Remember, these swimmers have absolutely no vision at all. Most of them wearing blacked out goggles, and the ones that aren't don't have any eyes at all. Mike Kotochville, look at that, getting into another gear, the world record holder here as he comes into the closing stages. Let's have a look at this time. Wow, 57.18 for the 17-year-old Czechia swimmer. Dorsman, 1:11 in second. Reiner de Souza in third in 1:29. It was all very tight. Number of swimmers on the 1 minute mark, but Kotochville looking great in the closing stages there. Really picked up the pace in the last 10.
He did. Kotochville had clear water between him and Dorsman, but then it was very tight. Again, a blanket finish, another cliche right there for you, between positions 2 and 7. Not much to separate at all. Cantero Elvira finishing a 1:99 to Dorsman's 1:11 in second. So it is very close. Plenty of time to be dropped for a number of these swimmers. Michaelo Turbin looking like he might be the final swimmer into that final, but we will wait. We can see now on the screen the blacked out goggles getting checked for those athletes that wear them.
I didn't notice anyone having any particular issues with the lane ropes there, Liz. We did see in the 50, of course, Roger Dorsman had a big clash on the lane ropes, and that cost him some distance, and he was ultimately out of the medals. But I think everyone was, pretty good. I mean, they are all experienced athletes, world-class athletes, but still, in this S11 class, there's always the prospect of getting tangled up in the kind of heat of competition, and it happens to the best of them.
Yeah, or even if you've just gone a bit quicker than you thought you were going to go, your stroke pattern changes, and it can offset you sometimes, or your stroke count can change. You swim through the wall, or you get your tap wrong. There's a lot, and it's nothing to do with the quality of swimmer they are. It's just the variables that exist.
And there are the finalists. David Kotochville will lead them. It's very close. The next 6 swimmers in the 1 minute range, and Serbin, the 8th swimmer, just sneaks in 1:03.99. Well, apart from Kotochville, 6 swimmers in the middle, separated by less than a second, Liz. That's absolutely nothing in this 100 freestyle. Kotochville, though, looking good to add another gold medal to his tally. We'll see what happens tonight. I'm sure others will have other ideas about that. 50 freestyle S13, we're back to the other end of the pool. Gia Pergolini returns to the pool after her success in the backstroke. Line up for this one: Kalilova, Uzbekistan, next to her teammate Odilova in lane number 0 and 1. Filiu Martin and Polo Lopez will go side by side in 2 and 3. Members of that Spanish relay team yesterday. Gia Pergolini in 4 for USA. Carlotta Giri from Italy in lane number 5. Olivia Chambers on good form, the USA swimmer, in 6. Grace Newfer from the USA in 7, and Danica Vanka from South Africa goes in lane number 8.
Yeah, they're off to a strong start, going well. In lane number 6 is Olivia Chambers. She leads through 25, but now that white hat of her teammate Pergolini coming through strongly in the centre to head the field.
And Pergolini now coming in to the wall, just ahead of Polo Lopez, possibly in second. Pergolini takes it, 27.68 for her. Polo Lopez on great form this week, and she gets in into second position, 27.95 for the Spanish swimmer. Olivia Chambers finished strongly, 28.07. We only had to lose one swimmer from those heats, and it would be the South African, I think, Danica Vanka, who is not going to make that top 8. Grace Newfer, the butterfly champion, just scraping in. But again, third place down to 8th place, separated by 0.7 of a second.
It's all very close. There'll be more to come from these swimmers this evening. That is the fastest time in the world this year, though, from Gia Pergolini. She's had some great swims here in Singapore this week.
Yeah, Pergolini takes that one, 27.68. Clear win for her over Paula Lopez. And look at the distance between all the rest, 0.7 of a second, separating positions 3 to 8. And the South African Danica Vanka missing out on that final. She'll be the reserve. 50 freestyle, men S13. Well, this one is going to be swift. My goodness. Again, we've seen some great contests in the S13 classification, some newcomers coming into this one. Igor Chitsovsky goes in lane number 3, the 17-year-old. He's been a sensation. Tasso Engel from Germany goes in lane number 2, the breaststroke world record breaker earlier this week. Line up for this one, right at the top. Gabriel Steen from Norway, Alhambra Moya from Spain in 1, Tasso Engel in 2 for Germany. 2 neutral athletes in 3 and 4, Chitsovsky and Tisbrook. Verchenko goes for Ukraine, the reigning world champion, in 5. Nicholas Turboy from Canada in 6, Bolotov in 7, and Hendricks in lane number 8. Again, we only have to lose one swimmer.
Well, Verchenko got away well, but it was Zubruk that came up in the lead, and he does head the field by the smallest of margins, ahead of Chitsovsky, 1 lane up from him. Verchenko coming back.
Tisbrook looks like he might be into the wall here, just ahead of Verchenko, and yes, Chitsovsky in 3rd place. Again, it was all very, very tight indeed. Tisbrook 23.57, and it looks like Alhambra Moya will claim the final place in that final, ahead of Gabriel Steen of Norway. But good swims at the front of the field, and again, not much between everyone in that field.
No, and Tisbrook and Chitsovsky have really come in and mixed things up in this S13 classification. Verchenko, the bronze medalist from Paris, did look good. He's a defending world champion, but he's not going to have it all his own way tonight.
Absolutely not. A very good finish there. 23.57 for Tisbrook. He did lead the world rankings coming into this one. He still does that. It's only 0.1 second shy of his best time this year. Verchenko under the 24-second mark for the first time this year. There's the qualifiers for the 50 freestyle S13. Verchenko, Chitskovsky will lead the way. Tasso Engel will think he has a chance at the medal podium. Bolotov, Hendricks will be there, Turbine, and Alhambra Moya. Only just about a second separating all the swimmers here in bronze medal position down to 8th. That was the final individual event of this session. And we've got one more event to come, Liz, and it is the mixed 4x100 metres medley relay. 34 points. Australia and Spain go in those middle lanes. Australia, Paralympic champions from last year. Spain, the Paralympic Games bronze medalists and reigning world champions, the Spanish team.
Well, the only team not fielding at 34 points is the Canadians. They'll go in lane number 1. They've got 33 points.
Canadians coming out to lane number 1, Great Britain. We'll start off with Faye Rogers on that first leg. We saw her take a medal, gold medal in the 400 freestyle there. Mary Jibb, the informed swimmer for Canada, will lead them out. France will go with Emmeline Pierre What a game she had in Paris last year, taking the gold medal for the French team in the 100 free. China will go with their S10, Tommy Gallagher. Spain gold with Beatriz Larida Maldonado. USA, Taylor Burnett will lead them off. Czechia will be Alexander Borska, S8 swimmer, and Alexander Oktera from Poland will lead them off. And again, they only have to lose one team, so a number of teams might not have many options to field teams here in this 34 points. So we might see some of the same teams, but we'll certainly see some teams change it about for the final. Yeah,
absolutely. And again, it's very misleading in terms of the times, because these are times based on rankings from previous years, but a lot of teams fielding completely different squads than they have used in the past. Spain, the only returning medalists from the World Championships in 2023. No team from Italy this time out, no team from Brazil.
Of course, mixed relays all the way at these championships. 2 male and 2 female swimmers in all of the teams, and you can swim it in any order. I think predominantly it's female swimmers are leading them out. With the exception of maybe Gallagher. I think he's the only male swimmer on that first leg.
He is, and he's a male S10 as well, so expect him to lead off strongly for Australia. Is that gold cap of Gallagher, who gets off to a good start. Going well in 3 is Zhang Yuan, but also Emmeline Pierre for France. They've got a strong first 100 meters of their quartet. She'll hand over to Hector Denaire, who won the breaststroke on that first night. But it's Gallagher that will turn first for Australia. 29.97. Ahead of Pierre, 33.714. Faye Rogers next over for Great Britain, just half a second behind, and they are in the same classification group. Mary Jibb is in the water for Canada. She's an S9 athlete. And Winnet is in for America, and she's a 10. So it's all close behind, but there's only one leader after this 100 meters backstroke. There's no doubt who it is. It's Gallagher, and he will hand over to Timothy Hodge, the SB8 breaststroker. So the Australians are led off with their 2 male athletes.
They have, and they are going to have a big lead here as they come into this second leg. They should have a massive lead at the halfway point. 2 very strong opening swimmers for the Australian team, but sometimes, you know, if it's the best combination, that's the way that you have. Right up there at the top now in second place, the French swimmer who was the champion in the 100 meters breaststroke in the SB9 classification. So he's bringing France back into contention now, and they'll have their male swimmer going next, Laurent Chardard, but an S6 swimmer for the French. So it's mixture of male and female, mixture of classification numbers, but ultimately it all plays out at the end of the race. But at the moment, Australia with that commanding lead, France in second. It looks like Spain coming through into third place. Salguero Galisteo for the Spanish team, and Australia are going to have that lead. Hodge is going to hand over to Emily Beecroft, female swimmer in the S9 classification. France will have Laurent Chardard, their S6 male swimmer. And in third place, is it Spain or the USA? They are absolutely together, but Spain go in with Mari Alcaraz and Noah Jaffian for the USA. That's the top 4.
Well, Insev has had a good breaststroke leg for the Americans to give Jaffe a chance down this butterfly with Mari Alcaraz. It's an 8 in the water for the USA, a 9 for Spain. They're pretty much together now, but it's still Australia out in front with Beecroft. They've loaded their team at the front end. They've got Chloe Osborne doing the freestyle. She's an S7 athlete. So it was the females bringing it home for Australia. 1 lane closer to us, the Spanish coming through very well. It is Mari Alcaraz. He will hand over to Zader Barretzo for the freestyle leg. Going well up there into still is Laurent Chardard for France. He is an S6 athlete, and the Americans having a strong swim here. The gap is definitely closing as Zader Barretto enters the water behind Osborne for Australia. And it's Morgan Stickney on the anchor leg for the Americans.
Yeah, Gattapoli going in for France as well. So it's female swimmers. And Alice Ty going in for Great Britain, making a little bit of inroads on that outside lane as well, bringing them up into contention for 4th place. But at the front of the field, it looks like it is going to be Chloe Osborne just leading them through. Chloe Osborne, the S7 swimmer, being chased by Zader Barretto, the S8 swimmer from Spain, Agata Pauli, who is an S9 swimmer from France. So it's all kind of closing up now. The USA still in contention, Morgan Stickney, S7 as well. And Alice Ty coming back there right at the top for Great Britain. At the back of the field, it's a real tussle to see who's going to miss out here between Czechia and Poland and also Canada. But at the front of the field, it is going to be Australia who are going to come home in front. Chloe Osborne did a good job there on the final leg to get the Australians back into 1st place, to keep them into 1st place ahead of Spain, who finished 2nd. France will be there. USA will be there. China just ahead of Great Britain. Poland will also be there in 7th position with, looks like it's the Czechia team who are just getting in ahead of Canada for that final place.
Well, the Canadians did finish off with the S5 swimmer, and they were the only team to be swimming with 33 points, though we have seen victories from teams with 33 points in the past. But again, in this medley relay, teams are restricted really with the combinations that they've got available to them sometimes.
Yeah, it was a good tussle at the back of the field there, wasn't it, for that final place. And at the front, well, the Australians took it out strong, didn't they, as we would expected. Their 2 male swimmers, an S10 and an SB8. And Chloe Osborne had the job of bringing them home. She was chased down very slightly by the others, but they didn't make too much of an inroads to the lead. She was never really in danger, and she brings Australia back home in 1st position. Big smile from Chloe Osborne. She's had a good week as well.
She has. There's Tommy Gallagher's fans we're seeing in the stadium. More Aussie flags being waved. There's those Hawaiian shirts you're talking about with Emily Beecroft's face.
They were crackers. We spotted them.
Do you remember we first saw the Americans do that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Jessica Long's husband, and Lizzie Smith's partner Noah, they had
set the trend. Yeah, great. It's all eyes on the big scoreboard. We wait for confirmation of that one. Australia will have a great chance of taking the world title in this one. Spain have got a strong team as well. France are strong, USA are strong. You know, it could go anywhere. It's all on the combinations, isn't it? And sometimes some of these countries have a combination that just works, just slots into place, doesn't it?
Yes, and like sometimes you see athletes that you...
Well,
I'm laughing because Paul nearly got taken out by a
whiteboard.
A whiteboard in the wind. But I'm pleased to report he did not.
No, survived.
What was I saying?
Another day.
Oh yeah, I was saying that sometimes you have to use your athletes on certain strokes that maybe are not their preferred, just to make your combination of points work. But we have seen it massively open up and become more competitive now that these relays have all become mixed relays.
And the Dutch were an example really of, they didn't have many options for their relay teams in the past, did they? They had about 5 or 6 swimmers to choose from, but their combination was absolutely sensational.
Well,
They're the world record holder.
Oh,
look at this.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that was what the long wait was for. Australia are in the final. Spain are there. USA, Great Britain, Czechia, Canada. But Poland, France, and China have been disqualified. My goodness. Well,
that does change things, doesn't it?
It certainly does. We thought the French had a strong team. China would have a strong team as well. And, well, Australia will be there. Spain, USA, and Great Britain. They're the top 4 in from that final. And, well, an interesting end to the session this morning, Liz. It's been a great session this morning, and here's what we're going to expect in the finals tonight. 5:30 local time here in Singapore for day 5 finals of the Toyota World Para Swimming Championships Singapore. 50 freestyles, 200 meters individual medley, a range of distances, a range of classifications for us to enjoy in day 5. And it will conclude with that final of the mixed 4x100 meters medley relay. 34 points. So please join myself, Paul Noble, and Liz Johnson, 17:30 local time here in Singapore. It is going to be a cracking session tonight. See you then.